And here we are.
Peace. What's up, cornbread man?
Well, it's Thursday, which is a good thing because a lot of people think of being off on after Friday or starting
Yep.
Friday afternoon.
The day after hump day.
Yeah, the day after hump day.
We call that neck day.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
Welcome everybody to Wolf Nation Sports. Remember, we do a little bit different sports. We do SFP sports with the racing hour, and it will stay with that unless otherwise we need it. And Wolf Nation Sports is our pop in and do whatever we want to do.
A little different.
A little different.
On this.
A lot of different things. Could just be sports talk. Could be coverage or whatever. We're going to talk about mainly the draft tonight, but we'll try to mix in some scores. The Braves already won today. They just are on fire. They lost one. The Mets finally won a game last night.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah. The Braves are just killing it. They had one bad game where they got blowed out, and the Mets are winning tonight in the bottom of the second, 4-1. But the Bravos, they got out with a win 7-2 over Washington. Those are the best two scoring teams in the league, I think. I mean, they're killing it with home runs and stuff, and so they're doing good. But tonight is the NFL draft, first round. Of course, we know
there could be some mix-ups.
There could be some trades. I suspect there will be at least 3 trades.
Well, from what I understand, spots 6 through 10, that range right in there could be some chaos and trade down.
There could be because there's going to be a couple teams trying to trade up. There's maybe a generational player, or at least a player who is going to be amazing. And there's on each side of the ball, one on the defensive side, one on the offensive side. The Notre Dame running back, Love, and there's a couple of guys on defense. There's a couple, depending on who you talk to.
There's one lock. There's one lock.
There's one lock, and it'll officially start here in a second. Yep. And the Raiders will be on the clock. Yep. And
Mendoza.
Everything points to the Mendoza national champion. They played a great season. He is on the rise. Jeremiah Love on the screen. There's some players are not in the green room. Some players chose not to come. It's become popular to sit with your family. The fear is that you get stuck in the green room forever. So some teams have decided to sit with their family. Arvell Reese, all these guys are going to go very high in the draft. The Raiders need a quarterback. They need some other things: wide receiver, offensive line, defensive line, cornerback.
Right.
Paul, you got to have a good quarterback. You have got to have a good quarterback.
That's true, and you got to have a good quarterback rusher, and I think the Jets are going to get one in Bailey.
There's and the Jets. Some say
they're solid defense.
It's like the Falcons. Everybody says where they're going. If they get this and this and this, they'll be a great team. Well, then it never happens. But the Jets have definitely had talent on their team, so we'll see. They're in Pittsburgh, I believe, this year. That'd be fun. Pittsburgh, the Steel City, and lots of goings on. There's the commish walking out. He's got the best job. Really, think about it.
Well, yeah.
He's the commissioner of a league that all the owners let him be the fall guy. They don't care what he says as long as he takes the heat for it. And the dude makes $30+ million a year. I mean, he's got the gig, man. He gets to get on camera. But the real power is behind him. It's the owners.
Oh,
and the guy, think about it.
They're the ones with the money.
He doesn't have to plan a game. He doesn't have to do anything other than show up. I mean, he does league stuff and, collective bargaining and working all those things out. But he's got people that help him with that. He's got a great job. People hate him, and he loves it. He's that kind of guy. Paul,
you have to be that kind of guy in that position.
Could you handle being a guy in an organization that the fans hate, but could you just laugh that off and be like, I don't care? I mean, would that bother you?
Oh, it wouldn't bother me at all.
I didn't think so. I really didn't think so.
No, it wouldn't bother me at all. I would probably thrive in that position.
I think he does too. To him, what he hears, I believe in his ears, is cheers because they're recognizing him. I think for him, silence would be horrible. To hear something. But
I would like to think I was doing a good job. And sometimes he's the only one that thinks he's doing a good job.
At times. I don't really have a pro or against about him. There's things I don't like, but what I would fault him with, because the league is a monster. The league's making money, more money every year. He's doing his job that way. What I hate, and I think a lot of fans hate, is all the social stuff that he tries to do with the league. Just play football. Don't got to be
Yes, it's not a platform for your political beliefs. It's not a platform for your social whatever. Listen. We don't pay to hear what you think.
Yeah.
We pay to watch you play football.
That's it.
Period. That's it. Nobody cares what you think unless it's about football.
Yeah, I wouldn't want some players to be coming out with a political R or D or I on their uniform. Like, you need to know who I could care less what their politics is. I'm not saying I care less about them as human beings. I'm just saying as a politics, I really don't care.
Well,
just
the moron,
come out and do what you do, man.
Yeah,
you know?
The moron from the 49ers is the one that started all this crap, I believe, by Kaepernick, by taking a knee, during the national anthem. He should have been booted off the team right then. Yeah. I mean, that's my belief. I would have benched him anyway. I don't care how good you are. That's a good point.
I think for him, I really wish somebody gave him a job so we could just see again how bad he was, so that people shut up. Because everybody said, well, if you'll put him on a team, there's at least 10 teams that need his services. Well, he failed with the one he was on. I mean, he absolutely failed. And he caused so much damage and problems and everything. And he's just a radical guy. He could have played. It's not to say. I mean, heck, those third stringers, I don't think that are any good at all on some of these teams. But hey, they hold the clipboard. They help run the plays in and out, or whatever it is they do. It's all cool,
Hey, I heard a really cool story today. There was this kid several years back. I forget the name of the football team. It was a college team, but they were having this challenge. It was a field goal challenge at halftime.
Yeah.
They would pick one person out of the crowd and he could try to kick. Well, this guy, when he came in, he saw what they were doing and he was, short on money. He needed to pay his rent. It was $12,000 to the winner if you kick the field goal. So he put his name in. Lo and behold, they drawed his name out of 53,000 people that were in attendance there. He goes out and kicks field goal. Well, their field goal kicker missed 2 in that game. And the coach said, go find that kid.
Yeah.
They went and found him out of the stands, okay, and asked him if he wanted to join the team. He joined the team, and not only did he do well, he had a 100% completion record for as long as he played for field goals, and he was 23 out of 28 and kicking the 3 points.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm having, anyway.
It's okay. It's been a long day.
Well, it's the concussion.
Thanks for everybody joining with us. Come in and chat if you'd like to come up on screen, talk.
Yeah,
talk
definitely.
About
Let's hear what you got to say about the draft or whatever.
Send us an email. We'll be glad to have you up. Was you a Raiders fan back in the 70s? The heyday of the Raiders, I guess you would say, early 80s.
Yeah, when Kenny was there.
I think, yeah, what a guy.
The Iron Wall.
They've got the hot Cameron Mike on the Mendoza family there, and he already knows. I mean, this is a good.
When they're on the clock, how long do they have?
I think these are 15 minutes, and then they bring it down for the second, third, and then bring it down again for the rest of them. So it's a long first round, which it gives you a lot of time to talk about players and teams and stuff.
Right, make deals.
The Raiders have struggled for a long time at this position, although there's a lot of players in the next few picks that they could definitely use. And I'm sure some of those defensive coaches are thinking, man, I'd love to get my hands on this guy, maybe other offensive players. But as we said, you got to have a good quarterback. I think he has all the tangibles, all the tools. He doesn't have everything. I mean, he moves just good enough to, I believe, avoid trouble. But he can make all the throws. I mean, he proved that. And he's a smart guy. He'll take the hit. And this, you just have a good quarterback.
He's tough.
It'll bring excitement to the to 6'4" 3/4 they were putting, and what a year for him. I mean, every week everybody was doubting this team that they would win, the college football championship,
and every week they came through.
And there's a lot of other good players on the team. It certainly wasn't just him, and as they show some of the highlights right now on the TV, I mean, he can make all the throws, and hopefully, and they've got some talent there on the team, but they're going to have to surround him, and they need to have a good rest of the draft. This is a great start, and it'll bring, like I said, they can start kind of putting the team around him and improving that as they go. But some of the teams in the first round or in the whole draft, don't have a lot of picks. Some of them have an abundance of picks. I think there'll probably be a trading of picks to move up in the draft, and some teams move back who need picks. And there's some teams don't even have a first-round draft pick. Hello, Falcons. You don't have a first-round pick. But they did get some good news.
Why.
They did get some good news. Their defensive lineman, from Tennessee, who had all the felonies, they're going to drop all the charges. He's got a couple things he's got to do. He may still face penalty from the NFL.
Right.
I suspect he probably will. But at least he's not saddled with all those felonies, because his career would have been over and maybe life. Spent in jail. But they did work all that out. They've all signed off on it. The law enforcement, the victims, everybody. I don't know if any money changed hands. I suspect it probably did. It pays to be rich, But it is good news for the Falcons. Maybe it won't be for the whole season, but he's going to lose some games. I would just think your personal conduct. They dropped the charges. NFL could always go back and do some of that. Booger McFarland. I'm not a huge fan of him on this show, but it is what it is. The pick is in, and so they didn't take all the time. They took quite a bit, and I think more of that was just letting them talk about their team. I don't blame them.
Right.
But the pick is in, and we'll hear that in just a second, or see that in just a second. Sometimes they mess up the picks. They actually name the player before they're actually there.
Right.
He's 6'4" 3/4", 236. Comparing him to Drew Bledsoe, that's a good analogy. I've heard that one before. Who was about the same height and everything.
Drew Bledsoe was an underrated quarterback as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and then you had Tom Brady come in behind him. Amazing, Yep. Here I had all these Drew Bledsoe cards that I collected, and then it wasn't that they were worthless. It wasn't that they were worthless, but man, Brady just set the standard. Who knew, right?
He definitely elevated the position. That's for sure.
I am not a Patriots fan at all. I'm not, but I did like Drew Bledsoe. Did like Drew Bledsoe.
Yep.
So the Raiders, they just, I think they got some good things going on. A lot of people, probably mad that they left California, but I think it was good to move to Vegas. I think they just need a winner there. They got to have a winner.
I'm glad the Jets moved. I think everything ought to leave New York.
The Jets need to leave.
Hopel and Mondami have ruined it.
Pick is in. Cook may join us tonight. Big Cowboy fan,
Yep.
He's fixing to step to the podium. They got to make sure
he is a big
going. How do you say this
fan.
name again? Here he comes. They got him all cool. No tie. This is a crowd that would give him a harder time. Pittsburgh crowd.
Yep.
Calling it out. The Raiders. Yep. Showing the family. No big surprise. They already knew it. He's already agreed to everything. Putting the Raiders hat on. You got your guy.
I wonder what his contract was for.
Well, the rookie contracts, there's only some leeway they can do there.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be a lot of money, but they have some control over that. Of course, they'll have to come to an agreement. Guaranteed money is the thing nowadays. Yeah, the guaranteed money is the thing nowadays. But what they want to do is get past that rookie contract and get the first real contract. And by the time he gets there, if he's done well, it's already crazy money that some of these quarterbacks are getting. That's the one that's makes the most on the field. And he's not going to be starving, that's for sure, as they say.
As long as he stays healthy.
Yeah, and that's the thing, NFL is so brutal. Every quarterback has to have a good backup.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
but
surprised.
again, I think he's, it just hasn't worked out for some of the, some of the quarterbacks that have went
I'm
there.
surprised that Broski hadn't had anything to say.
He may pop in, the big Chicago Bear fan he is.
Yep.
Of course, they already got their quarterback. He'll be looking for some other things.
They need to find somebody that can catch it. He can throw it.
Well,
they need somebody that can catch it.
They got a few. I mean, they do have a few, but they probably need to add one more. So, it'll be interesting to see tomorrow and the next Saturday and everything what they do with the rest of their picks, because they definitely have some other needs. I suspect they will pick up another wide receiver in the draft for him to add to that. So the team behind them, the Jets, need a quarterback. They need a lot. Offensive line, edge, defensive line, linebacker. They need a lot of stuff, and it's always the Jets. They're like the Falcons. They'll find a way to mess it up, unfortunately. But I'm not against them. I don't hate them or anything. It's just you go back 2 years ago. What was it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was? Aaron Rodgers in town. They're all hopped up. This is the year we got a great team. And dude goes out and gets hurt on the first series, Yep. It's like he's out for the year. It's gone. Oh, my gosh.
Well,
but you have to have this.
Do you think Love will go to the Cardinals?
No, I don't. But there's a possibility. But I don't. But we'll see. I really don't. I think it's going to be very soon in the draft. I mean, he won't go down far. What I'm thinking
is in the top 5.
There's a possibility that somebody may trade up ahead for either one of the defensive linemen or maybe him. There's always that possibility.
Well, I'm pretty sure Bailey and Love will go in the top 5.
They will. Most likely. Now, sometimes there's a fall because
of race as well.
Because of trades that may happen. It may change the dynamic of the first round. We've seen that as well. This is not considered the greatest of drafts. There's a lot of good quality and talent there, but it's not a super draft. Next year is by many to be a much better draft with more star power, especially at quarterback. Going back to quarterback for a minute, Mendoza, that was set. Now the question is where does the Alabama quarterback go? He's kind of pegged to be maybe the next one, but the one I'm really want to see where he goes is Carson Beck. Played at Georgia, he left, went to Miami. They had a really good year with him, but then it ended up he's gotten a bad rap by some people. They said he has all the tools, all the intangibles, but the label they have given him is that he's kind of a loner.
Yeah, he's not trustworthy.
It's a red flag. And it's true. He's never been that rah, lead the team kind of guy, but he can make all the throws. Talent alone, somebody's going to draft him. I'm curious about where he goes. He has a possibility to be a starter, although he may be a career backup in case there's somebody injured come in. If he goes to the right situation, he can start.
He'll go somewhere coastal.
He does like the coast.
I could see him going to Charlotte.
Oh, the pick is in. The Jets wasted no time. So they're I just have a feeling it's defensive side of the ball. That's what everybody's talked about. It's not a great predictor or anything.
I think it'll be David Bailey who they pick.
I think they need help. They just need to get some help there. Oh, it's really hard to avoid some of those wide receivers. There's a 2 or 3 star power on the board. I mean, really good. If there's not a great quarterback selection, honestly, but there's some really good receivers. So the pick is in. The commissioner's at the podium. They got some weird lighting this year, like this green. I like the steel thing, and there it is. You're right. David Bailey, Texas Tech.
Yep. Now, one of those that could be, I think, Cornell Tate, from Ohio State.
Oh, he's a beast, man.
He is. And I think he could possibly surprise some people.
But there's a couple of others that I think are really talented as well, who could be close to that. Again, it goes back to where they go, who gets them, what kind of quarterback's throwing to them. This guy's got a cool look. He didn't go flash. He went like he's headed out to the opera. I like the look. He was ready. That's all part of it when you get picked. What's your outfit like? If you're going to be in the green room, you got to be profiling, and he's definitely got the shades on. He's got the look. Boy, they got a long walk. My gosh, looks like they're coming from the back of the building. I mean, that is a long walk. Oh yeah, they have to go up and put the hat on, take the picture. That's pretty cool. The Jets. He'll get a lot of publicity. That'll be marketing capable. Playing in New York.
Well, it's going to be wild. Somebody jumps up for a QB.
We'll
see.
The Jets have had so many talented players, but they have stunk it up for so long. I mean, they really have. Ever
since Broadway Joe was there,
they're getting better. But one of your if not your biggest market, one of the biggest markets, and you have these teams that have been playing second fiddle to even the Patriots up, further up, other teams up the East Coast. But there's always a high premium on pass rushers.
Yeah.
And so, cornerbacks, pass rushers, centers.
Yep.
And, of course, the quarterback. But, where love, it gets a lot of love, no pun intended, is his breakaway speed that he can do anything on the field. A lot of people criticize the Falcons for taking Bijan Robinson, but I didn't. I said they need to take him. He's generational, but they got to put a good team around him.
Yeah.
And that's
you talk about, those linemen, Kelvin Banks Jr., he was offensive tackle, Texas, I believe. He could go pretty high in this draft because his numbers were outstanding.
We may set a record here for them picking because, it's down to 3 minutes. I don't think, unless there's a phone call, these first 3 or 4 picks, I don't think they'll listen to a call or two, but I think they're going. I don't think they're really wanting to trade the pick. Somebody'd have to offer them the moon for that.
Heard that.
So it's going pretty quick. It's under 3 minutes now on the clock. The Cardinals, it's been a team that's been up and down. They played at a pretty good level there. Then they kind of fell back. The quarterback play was off. They definitely need they need some stuff. When you look at this team, I'm not against them. I like what they've done out there, where they play out, and all that. All the teams are getting new stadiums, or most of them. The quarterback, offensive line, edge, defensive line, linebacker. They need a lot, so we'll see which way they go. Could this be a spot? I mean, there's so much talent out there for all those things, but could this be a spot where they say we go get the quarterback?
Well, that's a possibility.
Or is there somebody wanting to trade up and they can trade back a couple of spots? That's always a possibility. I don't think they will.
Who's available at quarterback?
The Titans are up next. They need a lot.
They're going to go with Reese more than likely.
They've already got their quarterback.
That's something
they really need. They're the ones that
amazing.
Well, it looks like the Cardinals are going to take the whole clock. So we'll see.
Why not?
Remember the old days, they would be sitting there in the little room. They had the little NFL jackets on with the phone right in the center. It's so much different now.
Yep.
The draft has become an event, and it's always been an event, but it used to just be media tops. I mean, there wasn't no fans there. It might have been some out around.
But this is really widely.
And they're all sitting at tables in the same room. Let's go over. Hey, man, picking up the phone. Owners are.
It works anymore.
Yeah, they got their guys there, but everybody's got their war room now.
Yep.
They're talking back and forth to each other. There was an old the pick is.
They're all in their perspective state.
Remember the old TV show Coach? I love that.
Yeah.
And he went to the NFL team. He's trying to get his pick in. That was hilarious, man. That whole thing. I love that show.
That was a good show.
Well, it's if you know Mel Copper. I mean, he's aged a little bit, but he really doesn't look that different than he has for 20 years.
Right.
I mean, the dude, he looks the same almost. I love that little scene years ago when the Colts were when he criticized their pick and well, Mel Copper, anyway, he said,
Right.
well, who the blank is Mel Copper? He was pretty new then. They play that usually every year to say, yeah.
He's
He
still
was right
here.
on that pick, and they were wrong. The pick is in. There's a couple of Georgia players that could go in the first round. Talking about the Bulldogs.
Right.
There's an offensive lineman, there's a linebacker, and there's the receiver, Branch. Although hopefully they'll dismiss any charges. A stupid thing. Some say officer overreach. A little bit more information.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all.
They told him to get off the sidewalk. They were trying to clear the bars, move everybody down the road. He kind of moved down, back and over, but stayed on the sidewalk, gave a smirk. I still think the cop was a little bit, I get it. You're having to deal with that every
I'll
weekend.
bet you $10. I'll bet you $10 that the cop that initiated the arrest was picked on in high school.
Maybe, dude. I don't know.
I'll bet you $10.
They took him, Love. They decided, you know what? We ain't trading it. We're taking it.
There you go.
They got a lot of needs.
Tennessee's
They
next.
decided they're taking their guy. This guy can do it all.
Yep.
He's another amazing talent.
He is.
Although I hate to say, I'm not a Notre Dame fan at all, but I recognize
He can run the ball, that's for sure.
I got to give them credit. They've really went fairly conservative on their suits and stuff this year. It's not over the top, flashy and crazy stuff. They've got a more professional look to me. I like it.
There's still a lot of people to come.
Well, there may be.
There's always somebody flamboyant in the group. You know what I mean?
Jeremiah Love. There's a lot of marketing they can do with that Love. They can
that's my wife's last name.
Yeah, that's right. So there's some things they can do. There's some things they can do.
Yeah, there's a song.
Thank you for the like, Sarah Jane Francis. We appreciate you.
There's a song, David, or Cornbread Man, excuse me. There is a song that is sung by a group called We the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Called I'm a Child of Love.
Amen.
I sent that to all three boys. I said, this is your song right here. And it has duality.
Sure.
Number one, Christ, but number two, your mama.
Absolutely. Oh. Well, again, another thing teams are doing is I would think that, and I've complained about this. Some teams I don't know that they think this way, or you want the best available player, you want to get better, but you got to have something. And sometimes this get teams in trouble because they think about what'll sell tickets, what'll put people in the stands. But I think this fills all the needs. I think this guy's marketable. He can be on the program, way up in the program. Team should be excited about it. He'll look good running in those colors, and better than Notre Dame. Sorry if there's any Notre Dame fans listening. We just have to give you a hard time.
Is Tennessee on the clock yet?
Well, yeah. They're on the clock, and, they're getting a new stadium. I'm surprised that the new Titans Stadium only holds 60,000. I know that's a lot of people, but it seems a little small to me.
That's about all they got, Hey, I'll be right back. I got to go get a light.
We're losing you, dude.
Dark here. I'll be right back.
Go right ahead. Tennessee Titans getting them a new stadium. They need to keep building the team. The team really fell apart. And, some of the picks that they picked just didn't work out. It happens. They finally, they got the very exciting Miami quarterback, and they've got some young talent on the team. This will be a nice add, whoever they get. Don't know which way they're going. We got 3 minutes to go. NFL first round. Pick number 4. The pick is in. Needs for the Titans. They list offensive line, edge, wide receiver, running back, linebacker. You could probably go on, but that's listed as the immediate needs that they have. And so we'll see who they pick. They're still talking to Jeremiah, so they'll probably hold just for a second for the TV and then go and get their guy. It's fun to have it's one of those things. I mean, unless you got it in a trade or something, it's, if you're real high in the draft, that means you had a bad season. But it is exciting on draft night. It's like starting the season. You're 0-0, yet you have a little excitement about your team and what it could do for whatever that level is. So I don't like it when I see players that refuse to go a certain place. Because that's how you get better. You got to have good. Yeah, it's better, man. You got to have good. You got to have good players. But hopefully, nobody this year is going to say that. But it is exciting for the team, the fan base. It's exciting to say who we got. We got this guy.
Do we stand a chance this year?
Can we win a couple more games?
Is it even possible to get to the playoffs at least?
For all your fantasy league. Hey, I've been a fantasy league commissioner for over 30 years. Yeah,
you've been playing that as long as I've known you.
Yeah. And it's always, that's what fantasy leaguers are always looking at. We do look at defense because we actually use individual players for our league. Right. But like Cook, we see all these offensive players. We start thinking, what kind of production might they get in New York with this running back? I mean, this is definitely that's the thing that's changed as well over the decades is the fantasy league sports for all sports, but especially football and baseball. And I've done both of those and some basketball at times.
Right.
And even NASCAR. But it's always been football has been my favorite, really, just because. And the first time I ever played in fantasy leagues in a league, I did baseball and football with this league. I actually won the football. They never did it again. That's the reason I just started to start my own league. We loved it so much. Yeah. We just recruited coworkers and we just kept going. We had as many as 4 leagues at one time.
We need to start a UFC fight league.
UFC fight league.
Yep.
Are you going to get in the cage? Or are you just talking about?
Dude, if it's somebody my age, yeah, I'll get in the cage with them.
We call that the senior cage match.
There you go. Yeah. Am I going to get in the cage with some of these young guys? No. I value my life.
The pick is in. Are the Titans happy? We'll see. Making the announcement right now.
NFL race
2026. Yeah, he's standing up. Cornell Tate, there you go. They said we got to get our young quarterback. There's your talent. That guy's amazing.
They got Tate.
They got Tate.
The Titans.
The Titans, yes.
Tate to the Titans.
Tate to the Titans.
Well, there you go.
Let's say there's a lot of happy Titans fans right now.
I bet.
They need some weapons.
Because everything that I've been reading said that Reese was going to be their pick.
Yeah. Well, as this thing's changed just a little bit, some of the order here has changed a little bit from the mock drafts. Most of them were fairly close. There's been a little bit of difference there. And, late. There's a lot of late rumors. I mean, people are hearing about some teams who they might be interested in. They're afraid they're going to trade up.
Right.
But some of these teams have double picks.
Well,
in the round. So there are some teams. The Cowboys have 2 picks. Yeah, they got 2 picks.
I'm really surprised.
Chiefs, I think, 2 picks.
I'm really surprised because Reese.
I thought they would go
Reese
defense.
Is probably the top talent in this whole class.
That's the discussion that goes on in a war room. The offense says we got to have our guy. The defense says we got to have our guy. Yep. And the head coach and the owner, they got to make a decision.
They usually go with the offense.
We got a young quarterback. We got some decent receivers. Let's go get a potential star.
Yeah.
And he has that kind of talent. He really does.
Yeah.
He went with the all white.
If they have, the time to train him, and develop him, not train him, but develop him.
Commissioner, give him
who's on the clock next? The Giants?
Yeah. And the Giants have started turning things around for themselves. They need something. They need several things, but this is going to be important for them if they're going to take that next step.
Well, they were looking at Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State.
Well, they've got a lot of needs, and cornerback is one of them.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Defensive line, offensive line, cornerback, linebacker, wide receiver as well. I would suspect, and the pick is already in, they know who they want. They didn't waste no time.
Wow.
So there's also a really good tight end that's going to be drafted pretty high in this draft. It's going to be there's going from Oregon. There's going to be a lot of he won't go too far, I don't think, because he's another really good talent, and that's a spot where you can overload the defense with a really fast tight end who can catch all the moves, and he can do that. So we'll see. Pick number 5 is in. We'll wait. The Giants. I grew up a Giants. I'm a Falcons fan. I am. But I've always been a Giants fan. I go back to the days of Phil Simms and Lawrence Taylor and all the Mark Bavaro and all those. I love that team. They won. I was a big fan of the coach. I definitely like the Giants, not over the Falcons, but I've always liked them. Some of the players over the years that have been there.
Yeah. I've always been a Cardinals fan.
Oh, really? I've usually root for them to do good unless they're playing the Falcons,
Yeah, I guess it's because there's another bird. Because, I mean, the Falcons have always been, my favorite team.
And then in the AFC, and it's not because of what they did lately. I've been a Chiefs fan. I go back to the days of Okoye and Derek Thomas and all those. I always loved the color. It matched really close to the Georgia colors. Right. And it's AFC, so I always rooted for them. There's a couple other teams I like. I really like the Texans. I love the Texans. I love their team, their coach, the moxie of the team.
I used to love the Oilers back.
I know, and it ticks me off. We lost the Oilers,
Yeah, back when Newsom was running the ball, boy, he was something else.
Yeah,
they had some really good running backs.
Earl Campbell and
yes, big Earl.
I hate it, and I think we'll probably see a couple teams move again. I think in the future, I think some of these markets. I think the league's going to expand again. I really do. So they're going to have to wait.
A good possibility they could bring in, 2 to 4 more teams.
And I think some of that is going to be international.
You think so? You think they're going to go that way?
Yeah, they're itching to put a team in Mexico City. It's a huge crowds turnout. They play there every year, at least preseason, if not sometimes regular season. But I think, they played a lot in London before.
Right.
They'd have to work out the travel things where they stay in the country maybe for, or out that way. They got to work all that out.
Well, Mexico City would be I could understand, that choice. And London's going to be a tough sell. It is because of their politics, of everything that's going on over there.
Well, the NFL's politics.
Well, exactly.
It may be the perfect marriage, dude. I don't know.
It could be. They could really hand in glove,
Did you ever go to NFL games when you were a kid? Did anybody ever take you to any?
I went to some Falcons games. That's the reason why they were my favorite team. And same with the Braves, they were right here. They're 2 hours or less away,
My dad took me to the Braves. He didn't take me to the Falcons, but he definitely was watching them on TV, and he put me there. And
the lookouts.
And the lookouts. I've said, my first really acknowledging the team really was 1975. Right. And, Steve Barkowski and Wallace Francis and Alfred Jenkins and Lynn Kane and William Andrews, all those, players that I can remember.
There's no way I could name all those players.
I love them. I love the red. They don't wear it all the time. They do the red helmet sometimes, but I wish they would go back to. I like the black, but I miss the red. I really do. I think it's a good.
Well, that's the color they started with. They were red and black.
I think it looks good with the black falcon on that red helmet. Yeah. That's what I grew up with. That's what I like the most. I like the black, but mix it up, do both. But I wish they would come back variation. They've run, and all the teams would play around with the fonts and the color variations year to year because they can sell different jerseys and people want to get the latest jersey type and all that. In the studio here for the podcast, I have the Bijan Robinson NFL straight from NFL shop. This one is about 3 years old. I think it's around 3 years old, 2 years old. However long Bijan's been there. I got it when he first came in the league. And it hangs up here as well as a Georgia jersey.
It's right there behind me a lot of times. You can see it. When I'm in the studio, you can see it.
I do have some other jerseys that I've bought. I found them on good deals. I've got some Jaguars and a couple other teams that I have. Sometimes the kiddo wears them because they're long, and it's not as much now because she's a teenager.
Who was that crazy? Who was the crazy guy that played for the Panthers. It might have been, I can't remember who, but he killed his wife or somebody, put her in the trunk of a car.
Oh, Ray Caruth.
Was it Caruth?
That was one of them. You know, she was pregnant, and was just stupid.
They beat her to death.
Well, I think on that one, is that the one? No, there's been different ones. I thought that was a shot. They shot her.
No joke. I mean, these guys, come on. Lord, you get a little money and these people go crazy.
Yeah, he didn't want to have to share it, but you know what? You stupid. You killed your kid, killed the lady. You spent the rest of your life in prison.
I mean, what's that? That tells you right there.
It was really
I'm going
good
through this in my life right now. I can't talk about it, but some people choose money over being a decent human being. And, you know, it's good that God reveals these things to you, you know, over time through their character. And, you know, you know, the word says, dust your feet off when you leave, you know. And that's.
We have an opportunity to do that.
Exactly. And that's.
All right. There's the pick. There's Reese. Nice pick by the Giants. Brings back, you think of all the great linebackers they've had.
Yep.
I was a huge Florence Taylor fan, man.
So the Giants took Reese.
Yeah, Johnson got Reese.
Good deal.
Ohio State.
They traded up.
That was a good pick.
Yep.
By them.
You know, Ohio State's got a lot of good players.
You know,
Ohio State's got a lot of good players in this first round.
Well, you know, that's been a loaded team. Even though they didn't win it all, they're definitely a loaded team.
Yeah.
Got the pick is in already on the Chiefs. They need cornerback, wide receiver, edge, defensive line, offensive line. I say of all that, they've addressed it a little bit. They need to get their offensive line back.
Are the Chiefs up next?
Yeah, the pick is in.
I thought it was Washington.
Well, they're on the clock, but the Chiefs have already got their pick.
Wow.
I told you they're running fast. Oh, there's a trade alert. Uh-oh. Trade alert. Cleveland Browns trade pick to Kansas City. I was wondering why. I thought they went that high. So
yeah,
here
that's
you
what
go.
I was thinking.
They want to get their guy. I want to hear who it is. I'm not hearing it, so I'm just going by what I'm seeing. But they have traded into this spot.
Wow.
And Cleveland picks up probably a pick or two. Well, of course, their first round pick, they got something else out of it.
So Kansas City, or did you say Kansas?
The Browns get number 9, 74, and 148. So they're picking up a couple extra picks. The pick is in. The heck, fire. Reese has not even got up there yet. You know, so they're still trying to get. He's on the stage now. So the Chiefs are having to hold here.
So, question: the Chiefs are number 6 now, right?
Yeah, and the Browns.
I bet you they're going after Tyson.
I don't know. This one perplexes me. I'm not sure what they're after.
I bet you they're going after Tyson.
But I know it's not going to be a lineman. I just don't think that. I could be wrong. I'm wondering if they're going after the tight end to replace Kelsey when he moves on.
That's a possibility.
They do need weapons. They've never had the offense when Tyreek Hill left. They've never had the downfield ability that they've had before. It could be one of the speed.
They could have it with Tyson.
Either one of those would be a great pick here for them because they have got to get down the field more. The Dinkin and Duncan has not worked for them, and even though they've won some games, they've lost some games, and they just haven't been as powerful. And, you know, Andy Reid wants to get at least one more Super Bowl before he steps aside.
Yeah.
I like him. He's a funny guy. I like the commercials where they're eating the burgers and stuff. It's funny.
Right.
A lot of people don't like Mahomes, but I just knew he was going to be good from college. And his brother's a dork.
Mahomes is just a terrific talent.
But he can throw every throw and make up throws.
Yeah.
You know, and
I'm surprised we hadn't seen him throw one behind his back. You know?
Under the leg, jump around.
Yeah.
Pirouette.
Front flip. The front flip bomb.
The front flip.
Man, think of the momentum you could get, you know, doing a flip and letting your arm come over the top, doing a flip. The front
Hey,
flip.
folks, thanks for everybody that's watching. Love football. You obviously like something about the NFL for being here. Give us a like and a follow and a share and all that. It really does help us. Just so
Jump
you know,
in and say hi to us.
And
we love hearing from people.
If you send us if you just post in the chat that you would like to come up, you can send it to the email, and we got a couple different emails. We got one showing. So the pick is in. Here we go. The Chiefs they moved up. They gave away their first round and 2 other rounds, a third and a fifth. So they really wanted this pick. They moved up. They must have thought somebody was going to take it before it got to them at 9. So who did they pick? I've seen no leaking of the information. It may be out there on X or something, but we will see who they're all standing in the war room. Pick is in.
Could be Tate.
Well, Tate already went, remember?
Oh, that's right. My bad. I'm not writing anything down I need to be. Who all's gone?
Well, let's see here. Here he comes. Kansas City. That's Jordan. One trade. I think there'll be a couple more. I really do.
Jordan Tyson. That's my pick.
No, Mansour Delane. They did go with that cornerback. Wow. He was talked about, Mansour Delane. He was talked about a lot leading up to the draft of his really being the dog at that position. I mean, just what he can bring. They did have some trouble stopping people. So they went up and got their defensive guy. He's 5'11", 3/4. He plays bigger than that. He's 187 pounds. But he's a difference maker. He's one of those guys that
he's fast.
Yeah, and he plays really tight coverage, really good. I mean, they were really bragging on him leading up. Those SEC players, Where's Broski when you need him?
Yeah, no.
Pick on him, He's always putting down SEC now. LSU
everybody says they're overrated,
it's over. They're not a good conference anymore.
Everybody has a bad year or two. I know I've had several.
Yes,
years just better than others, man.
It's like saying to your parents, I just had a bad year or two. The business, I'm going to get it turned around 5 years later.
I still need a car.
5 years, I mean.
I still need a car. Come on. I made a couple of F's.
Oh, parents, they just have this eternal hope that their kid's going to get it figured out.
It's like, if you ever heard
some don't.
You ever heard Jeff Foxworthy talking about his nephew? Said his sister had a boy. His nephew, obviously, thought he was just the smartest kid in the world.
Yeah.
And I was over there one day, and he was laying out in the front yard, pointing up in the sky. Airplane. My God, he's 13 years old. All right.
Oh, man.
I didn't do it justice, trust me. Jeff Foxworthy does it a whole lot.
I know. It's like, it's like one day I was doing I think I told you this. The Commanders pick is in. I hate saying the Commanders, but the pick is in.
The Redskins.
At the one day at the box store, the big box store, don't say the name. They come out to the car and arrested this mother-daughter. They were both on the scooters.
Really?
So they rode out on the scooters. They ran out and stopped them at their car. And the officer and the loss prevention manager or worker or whatever it was, they escorted them back in. So there was this slow roll back to the office where they deal with all that on the scooters, dude. And then about 30 minutes later, I joke not, 2 police cars pull out. Mom's in the first one, daughter's in the second one. They're both looking out the window. I was like, that is the saddest thing I've ever seen.
Wow.
They both went shopping and decided to steal. and they both take the ride. Good God.
The slow ride. That gives
slow ride.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing was fog hat while you were doing that. And
it took them forever because people don't charge those carts like they're supposed to, and not being mean, they were a little bigger, and I think it slowed them down. It was a little heavier on the wheels.
It has to. I mean, them things can only go, so fast under pressure. I've seen some of them
wide
things.
Receiver, offensive line, safety edge, linebacker. He's got the escort.
I've seen some of those little carts pull way more than they intended them to.
There was a guy one day. Oh my gosh. This lady sat on the cart all day long. So she was waiting on a taxi. So it was inside the store. So I'm talking hours. Keeping one of those locked up where nobody could ride it. So finally they said, you're going to have to leave the store. You're just sitting here. So she finally called the taxi. I was out there and the taxi come up. I went and the guys, I saw him. There were two of them out there. And I said, I'll get one if you'll get one of them. And he said, he was griping about the lady, the guy that was getting them in. He said, she's been sitting here all day. And I pulled the other one in. I come back and he's pulling it. And I said, is the battery dead? He said, no. I won't say it how he said it. He said, she crapped in the seat. He was hot. Dude, he was hot.
My goodness.
Oh, man, she'd sit there and messed and left it in the seat, man. Sonny Styles, linebacker, Ohio State, Washington. That's one of those names that kind of rings off of your tongue. Sonny Styles.
It's another Ohio State boy. We'll be hearing a lot from him, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, all the Ohio State fans. But we can say they lost some talent.
Yeah. Yeah, how deep were they,
Number 8's the Saints. The pick is already in. Wide receiver, edge, cornerback, defensive line, offensive line. Then the Browns get their pick. The Browns will be, they need quarterback too. They've had all these quarterbacks that can't, none of them, they all suck.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, all the ones they've had. It's like the Browns are another team. They're cursed like the Jets. That's where quarterbacks go to die. I swear it is. And the Falcons.
Yeah, it seems that way. And Falcons, you're right, yeah.
Wide receiver, cornerback, edge. Well, there's a couple of more, but that's.
Well, I mean,
I'm glad
Brett got out of Atlanta as quickly as he did.
The Falcons have the. They're going to need to keep two ambulances on the field because their first quarterback is probably going to be Tua. I hate to say it, but he's going to be laying on the field. Blind side, they lost a lineman over there. He's going to hit from the blind side. He's going to be on the field, hurt. They'll bring Penix in, and it doesn't matter which knee. Just choose one. He'll go down, and the third stringer's like 38 years old. It's going to be the most. The Falcons are going to lose they're going to have a lot of player minutes they miss at the quarterback position this year. I
would love to see a 38-year-old come in and take them to the Super Bowl. That you talk about a Cinderella story. That would be a Cinderella story.
Dude, we can't never. Cinderella never works for the Falcons.
Yeah, we're always the ugly stepsister.
If we get there, we find a way to. We find a way to turn it into a frog, man. I mean, they had the Patriots and they blew it. They blew it. The Saints pick is in. Browns are on the clock. Giants are up again. Then the Dolphins. Then the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
The Dallas Cowboys. They need edge line, D-line, offensive line.
Listen, I'm going to hate to leave you, brother, but
no, go ahead, man.
I have got a couple things I got to do before I go to bed.
You're good, man.
We got to get devotion in.
Good having you.
Stuff. Hey, it's been I've loved this. I mean, we need to do this more often.
Oh yeah. Every Sunday.
Maybe not the draft, but
every Sunday we go live for the NASCAR race. So
there you go.
If they're racing, every Sunday.
Sweet.
So join us Sunday for that live with Wolf Nation Sports.
Will do.
Remember, the Wolf knows.
And always keep ascending.
Peace Good night, my friend. God bless.
God bless you. Now let me figure out how to get out of here.
We'll drop you down. There you go. He got it. I've been teaching him. He kind of new at the controls, figuring it out. It's all good. A little bit while they're interviewing the player. A little update on baseball. The Mets are still winning 7-2 in the mid-fifth over the Twins, Pirates, Rangers, no score mid-third. Braves, as I said, won 7-2 over the Nationals. They're 18-8. They're 10-4 away from Atlanta. That's amazing. Nationals are 11-15. They're 3-10 at home. They've got a good team. They've got some nice hitters on that team. Tigers beat the Brewers 5-4. Both these teams are doing pretty good. Tigers 14-2, Brewers 13-11. Tigers got off to a slow start. They've done 10-2 at home. The Phillies lose again in 10 innings to the Cubs. The Phillies are really stinking it up. They are 8-17. They're 3-7 away. The Cubs are 16-9. The Cubbies look to be really good. Assad got the win. Banks got the loss. Padres beat the Rockies 10-8. Padres are 17-8. Rockies rough start. White Sox 4-1 over Diamondbacks. Both these teams, the Diamondbacks are 14-11. White Sox 10-15. Dodgers win again. They're 17-8. 8-5 away. Giants 11-14. The Giants are off. They picked up a few games, but they're off to a horrible start. This team is expected to be a lot better with their new coach from the University of Tennessee. The Yankees beat the Red Sox 4-2, 16-9 for the Yankees, 9-16 for the Red Sox. The Red Sox are not doing real good. So there we go. Good job, Braves. They got the best record in baseball, believe it or not. I didn't think their pitching staff could hold up. It's early, very early in the season. They've got help on the way. Outside of a couple of really bad blowouts, they have played really well. The hitters have gotten hot. The pitching is going to the relievers are lights out. Of course, they lost Iglesias to the 10-day, but their backup is just really as good, so they're really blessed that way. Got to get Strider back. There's a couple other players that need to get back, but this team looks really good. So congratulations to Bravos. They were predicted to finish third. Right now they're first, and they are rocking it in the league. So we'll see. Maybe the Mets get another win. They are 8-16 on the season. Second highest payroll in baseball. Second highest payroll in baseball, and they're 8-16. Heads are going to roll over there if something doesn't happen pretty quick. So you can only be patient so long, and you have to do something. So again, they're on a commercial break. They got to hold for that. So I suspect it'll go Saints really. I think their pick is in. Then the Browns really quick. Maybe even the Giants really quick as they get back in. We know the Saints pick is in. They can't officially say that for the others, but I suspect they have that already. And so we'll see. Love the draft. Always love it. I've always watched it. If I had to work, I would try my best to keep up with it. I like to watch all the teams and just see how this thing goes. And it's fun if you're in fantasy leagues to kind of see what opportunities they might get for the teams that are, that you're going to, who they go to, and, are they going to be good rookies or they get to play at all? Or I think nowadays most rookies are expected to contribute. Quarterbacks sometimes are still held in reserve behind someone that is mentoring them along. And, you just have to wait and see, but usually injuries or something will affect that and they will come in. Copper's best available, Caleb Downs, Tyson, of course, we mentioned. Few others there. I'm looking at the positions. And we should see a run on some tackles, offensive tackles. It's about that time of the draft where you will start seeing offensive linemen, defensive line. We've seen a little bit on defense. Offensive line has not been there yet. This may be a good time for that. So we'll see what they do. The Saints definitely need offensive line, so we'll see. But there is a lot of talent there. It's hard to ignore that. But you got to have your line. I think they should make the commissioner just stay out there and sit in a chair. He has to walk back out. He's trying to get the fans all stirred up, the Saints, in the house. Who dat? I like how they put the background for the team that's up there and turn it to the colors. That's pretty cool. I love what the NFL has done with the draft and making it a fan event that is hundreds of thousands strong. I think it's a win-win. There's no other draft that's anywhere close to what they're doing, and I applaud them because they own it. They own. When you're talking about drafts, they own it. Tyson, there he goes. So they stay on the offensive side of the ball. Get that young quarterback another weapon. Arizona State. Jordan Tyson. He kind of sounds like a Saint, honestly. So yeah, the pick on the Browns is already in. The Giants are on the clock. I suspect their pick is already in. This thing took so long for the commercials. So a lot of receivers early. I was a little surprised. I didn't think that they would be this many yet. And but what this does when you're kind of analyzing a draft, it's pushing some players lower that some people thought might not be there, and it'll be those in the trenches. And somebody's going to get I think of Proctor from Alabama. I mean, here we are this deep, and that guy's not been drafted. I mean, we're waiting on the 9th pick. I'm shocked. I get it, though. People want that. They want the game breaker. They want to put some of these young quarterbacks and get them some help and all. I get it. There's a lot of ways you could go, but you got to protect those guys. You got to open up your running game. And this is a little shocking that we're at pick 9 and so far not an offensive lineman. I think that's going to change in the next 2 picks. It may not be Proctor, but he's going to go among the 3 top offensive linemen, and his ceiling is very high. He's still getting better. He's nowhere near. Got a little tears going on. The emotion hits you. Hit him hard. He's went to the knee. Bless his heart. I mean, it's just a big moment. You think of how young they are. Sometimes we forget how young these. I'm not saying anybody listening. I'm just saying in general. Sometimes we forget how young these people are, and how their lives has totally changed as 21, 22-year-olds. Think of yourself and what you were doing at 21 or 22. Can you imagine walking on a stage where the world is watching? Millions of people. You've done it in college. You've been on the big stage, but this is a whole other step up. Even though you got some money in college, that's a change now. But now, now you become a professional, and you're going to be, highlighted a lot. You're not stuck. You're not with 200 colleges fighting for that attention. You're now in the NFL where there's only so many teams. Get the chance to play on Monday Night Football, things like that. What you can do for your parents or grandmother or whoever it is, it's a dream come true. They've worked hard. They put in the time, and now you're standing there. I just can't imagine what that feels like. And you don't know when your name's going to be called. They do give them a call sometimes, say we're going to take you to the next pick, but sometimes you're waiting, and people are passing you over. This is a big relief to get your name called early in the draft. I mean, it's just still top 10. The money is still fantastic. None of it's bad money, but the money is really good at the top. The lower they go, they start losing money they'll never get back. When money loss is like time loss, you'll never get that back. You can always make money, but you'll never get the money back in that first contract. That's gone. So they think about that. They're not stupid. And then also it's a pride thing. How you've passed me over. You've passed me over. All these teams passing over. I'd say the offensive linemen in the group are probably wondering what's going on. It's about time for them to call an offensive lineman out. But I suspect with the Browns or the Giants, we're going to see that, and we'll just have to see what that is. We're getting close to the Cowboys. I guess Cook is busy. Cowboy Cook, I'd love to see him check in when that gets around. That'll be coming up here in a couple of picks. So we'll see. They got to get all the particulars out of the way for they got all these little things they do on stage now. And I think it's cool. But honestly, let's go. You can do that on the side. But you're giving her a moment. I understand. But these teams are picked. They're ready to go. They're saying, well, we're scheduled to be on TV for a while. They give them the signing the player card. Pretty cool. Getting their picture to the commissioner, holding the jersey up, wearing the hat. Then they get the interview. Mom's there in the crowd. We hit the jackpot. He's dancing too. Mom going to get a new house if she needs it, a new car. That's the way it is. It's great for these fans, unless they pick a player they don't want, and then it's bad. I feel bad for the player. Here comes the Browns, and the Browns need so much. They really do. Okay, then there it is. Spencer Fano, offensive tackle, Utah. They're catching up. It's already been announced. Giants, the pick is in. They'll announce these pretty quick. They just got to get the TV stuff done. So Spencer Fano, offensive tackle, Utah junior. The Browns say, we need some help, and you do. So there's the first one, pick 9. I suspect within the next 3 picks, you're going to see another one because you really need – they're going crazy back at the school in Utah for the lineman who's in the house there. He decided to stay there. Nice. Giants on the clock. The pick is in. The Dolphins on the clock. The pick is in from the Giants. Second pick for the Giants. It's a way you get really good fast. You've got, your Edge and Reese, and now here you are, number 10, so 5 and 10 in the draft. You get some of this really good talent. They may go defensive again. I just think they're going offense. I think they would do the same thing. So you gotta get those guys to clear the way for your running game, protect the quarterback. You gotta get your trenches built up. No matter how good you are, you got to be able. You can't throw the ball fast enough for some of these offensive lines. They're horrible. And I'm a little worried. Like I said, the Falcons were shocked going back to them. Caleb McGarry, he retired. A little bit of a surprise, and so they put his back. They penciled him in there. They're going to have to get some help there. That's Tua's blind side because he's lefty. Not good. So I feel for him. I hope they can plug that up and play well. I don't have a problem with the guy on the run game. I'm concerned about him in the pass game. I can't remember his name, the backup. He filled in for him. He was there. Here comes the Giants pick. They're rolling now. Not bad. We're already at these picks. There it is. Again, offensive tackle from Miami. Francis Mauigoa. Hope I didn't say that too wrong for you Miami fans. So, yeah, getting it done. The big uglies, as they say. That's all done with respect. The big uglies. Gotta get those trenches. These guys are the ones slamming into each other the whole game, beating each other up. He looks like the kind of guy that could do it. Big dude, man. Look at that. I got to say, I have never seen an entrance with that look before. Comes in, slaps the New York sign. He's got a good entrance. I like it. Big chain. It's a big, I don't know what that is he's got around him. I'm not sure. I'm not listening to him, but he's got a look coming in, the sunglasses. Give him the shout out to God, and he says, "I'm not crying." Oh, he's got stuff on the back. He's coming in with attitude. Oh, kiss the hat. Nice moves, dude. He's checking off all the boxes for a new pick. Gave the sign, a high five, kiss the hat. Coming in, rocking it, ready to go pick it. This guy's going to pick up the commissioner. I don't bet, but if I was betting, I would say he picks the commissioner up and sets him back down. It's a big guy. Come on, he didn't do it. I would do it. He's going to be nice. He's not. Look at the hands on that guy. I guarantee the commissioner's hoping he don't pick him up. He's got some big, my God, on the jersey. But it looks like it's too small for him. I don't think they got the proper size. It looks like a linebacker, 6'5.5". Of course, over 3, all the good ones are now. It's a grater. I love it. That Miami team did really good. It was, wasn't a fluke. They're a really good team. Miami's back. Showing him out here blocking on the run, blocking in the pass. Let's see how Miami does now going forward. Getting out as you have to do. You got to be able to get outside and He's full of energy. I like that. Good job, man. Congratulations. What a great time for his family, the fans, the state, the college, the team, all that stuff. The Cowboys pick is in. So we're moving fast now. These guys ain't playing this year. So the Cowboys pick is in. Dolphins on the clock. Cowboys again, mainly looking defense or offensive lineman. I would suspect they're going to go defensive line. I think they've already locked in on a guy. And like I said, there's been some players that's pushed down the list a little bit. There's some. They definitely got some great choices to choose from here. I would think it has to be defense. But there's some players that are pushing down a little lower. Quarterback could be one of those. We didn't think it'd be real early, but there's going to be some teams that maybe thought about trading up, and they'll be coming up, and they could be at the who knows, the next pick. But there's some players on the teams on the backside of this draft. The Browns have another pick. They definitely need a quarterback. So if Simpson's going to go in the first round, the Jets have another pick. There's some opportunities here. Give the love. Commissioner's looking like he's being appreciated tonight. You'll appreciate that. I'm not a lot of people, I guess it's fun to hate on him. I don't like some of the things he does, but I don't hate the guy. I don't hate anybody, but I don't crack on him too much because I realize I understand him. I really do. He's got a job. He's got one job: please the owners, and everybody knows it. The players know that. The players know he's not there for them. He's there to please those guys who are paying him, whatever it is now. It's maybe $40 million a year now, but I know it's $30 million a year. They always redo his contract. They don't ever get close to it. This guy will have this job as long as he wants, as long as he's accomplishing what they want. And the players get mad, the unions get mad. But he's hung around a long time. A lot of people thought he would get shoved out when they mismanaged some stuff. But he's not going anywhere. He would have to have a huge. He signed an extension in 2024 through 2027. It's worth more than $200 million, including bonuses. Brings his total earnings with the league to about $700 million since becoming the commissioner in 2006. It's more than twice the career earnings of any player in NFL history. And all he has to do is what I just said: please the ownership, and he'll have that job for as long as he wants it. They're more than willing to pay him all that money. They don't care. There are a couple of teams in the league that would vote against him. They're mad at him. But all he have to do is have the majority, and he's got that. He'll hold on to that, whatever. I don't know if it's by number or higher. It may not be just one more than half. They got some rules, but he's got all the teams in his camp he needs, and it doesn't matter what the others say. Honestly, he's going to be there. This guy's going to be the billion-dollar commissioner in a few years. Think about that. That's amazing. But on his credit side, the league is making more money than ever. The salary cap keeps going up. The TV money is great. They've turned, like I said, the draft experience into something that is unlike anything else that's out there. They are successfully playing in other countries. It is, even though a lot of people got mad at the NFL, that was a misstep. They kind of downplayed that just a little bit. They're still doing something, but they downplayed it a little bit. And there's some fans will never go back. I've got friends. They say I'll never watch another game. And I say I understand your feelings. I don't watch. I've decided I don't watch the pregame too much anymore. I just turn it on when the game's coming on. But that's a lot of that's because they just don't. They need some new talent. That's one thing. Some of the TV folks they need to have some fresh in there. It's getting a little rough. I love the guys that's been in there and gals. I think they do a pretty good job, but they need some new blood. They've got some, but it's looking a little rough on the old set. But I like what a couple of them are doing. I think the That started off a little shaky, but it's been very successful. In the season, the NFL plays on most nights. Think about it. You got Sunday night football, Monday night football, Thursday night football, Saturday football, Sunday football, and there's going to be there's some select Friday football. Here comes the Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys. The pick is in. Caleb Downs, Ohio State safety. Cowboys get richer. Good guy here. Another Ohio State. Man, they're rocking the first round. A lot of talent. Big hitter. Cowboy Cook will be happy. I don't know what he's doing tonight. I thought he'd come around. Maybe he's afraid. He wouldn't like the picks. Dolphins pick is in. Rams are on the clock. Rams are in an interesting position here, too. They're in a very interesting position. Might they gamble and go ahead and take a quarterback to work behind their star, who will undoubtedly be leaving in a few years? Let him do that. I don't know if you want to pay that kind of money, but the Dolphins pick is in, as we said. Caleb Downs, Ohio State. Oh, he's picking up what the other guy did. He stopped in front of the star, gave it a little gaze. This will now become a thing for the rest of the picks. Dude set the standard on that. I would have stopped in the hallway, took the selfie with the thing. I mean, like, who else gets to do that on that night, that hallway? Not everybody gets to walk down that hallway. You came to the draft. I do the selfie. Here I am. I didn't do a little video. Here I am. But they got the thing down there. They put the hat on. Had a hard time getting a hat on with all that hair. Dressed very professionally. Looks good. Coming in appreciation, blowing kisses, and touching the heart. These guys done a good job tonight with the walk-in. Sometimes it's been a little over the top, a little crazy. But these guys have, and I know they coach them in this. I mean, their agents and others are telling them, pros and cons, what to do, what not to do. Sometimes they don't listen. 5'11", 206. Well, that Ohio State team was stacked. I'm telling you, you just see it right here. A little lost behind the line there if you're watching on TV. Thank you again for all those that are checking in tonight. Having fun, just talking about the draft. Each team. The Dolphins, Tua's moved on now to Atlanta. There was a time a few years ago I thought they were really going to be – I really thought they were really putting together a nice team. It sort of fell apart. They've had coaching issues. There's been some just – it's not really – and really – you think back to the heyday of the Dolphins. I mean, they've had some heydays. They really have. I mean, they're not really Super Bowls as far as winning, but the perfect season. All those good years in Marino. They come back around. I remember they had that great defense, and when Tua first got there, it seemed like a perfect marriage. Everything was going good, and Miami's a tough town. The Marlins don't do good there. I can never envision the Dolphins leaving Miami. They legend there, part of the NFL history. But they list their needs as wide receiver, cornerback, edge, offensive line, safety, which means they need help all over. So there's Jerry, all the brain trust, Jerry Jr. in the war room. Pick is in, waiting on it. For the Caleb Downs, they're excited about that. He's doing his interview. They get to slap each other on the back, say great job. Now the Dolphins waiting patiently. Bud Light making sure they get back in the spotlight, sponsoring there on the stage. They need the positive publicity. These Washington fans in the front with those pinstripe overalls. They get to walk through the crowd there, meet people, all the Cowboy faithful. That's pretty cool. What the heck is that? I got if you're watching that hat on that dude with the blue lights off of like a police cruiser. That's pretty good. All right. Dolphins fixing to be announced. We're putting them up on the screen. Pick is in. Oh, we already see it. It's Proctor and perfect pick. I couldn't believe he fell that far, but that's not too far. But I'm surprised it wasn't top 10. Caden Proctor of University of Alabama. He's a massive guy. I'm probably a little bit behind on my TV up here, so if I seem like that, it's probably because I've just had it updated. But Caden Proctor, I like this kid a lot. I had to play against him, of course, as Georgia, and watching him. He is super talented, super talented young man, high ceiling. He's a junior, and I bet Tua wished he'd had him there when he was there. But this is a good pick. When you need, like I said, when you need a lot, solidify the lines, get your defense built up. So I think this is I think it's a good pick. A little bit of baseball, look how big I got. Kind of has that. What was the Hall of Famer played at Baltimore? Kind of reminds me of him a little bit. 6'6", 352. Big dude. They need him. Rams be announcing here. The Ravens are on the clock. Of course, yeah, you have to show them against Georgia, don't you? Oh, yeah. Oh, we don't mind. Well, that pick's coming in. Mets are still winning 7-3. Top of the 7th. Rangers all over the Pirates 6-0. There's a couple of games that are ongoing. Everything else is final. Big man. The emotions again. Bigger they are, sometimes they show that big heart. I think of all the work that's went in for these young people, all the way back. Nowadays, from the very earliest age, it seems like they're already in some sort of camps and being prepared for this. Of course, most don't make it. The fact that you've made it to that stage, there are thousands upon thousands of players that wish they'd had that opportunity. You've worked hard. You've overcame lots of adversity, I'm sure. You've been on big teams, performed at high levels. You've stayed in the weight room. You have to watch your weight, keep those grades up. Of course, he didn't graduate, I guess. That would be something he could do later. But he's got an opportunity to go now and start his professional career. Big smile. Good to see that. Then he gets to get in the camp and get screamed at again. It's all part of it. They need help there. About every team needs, almost every team, if not every team, has offensive line as a need. And the reason is there's not enough great ones to go around. There's some good ones. There's a few great ones. There's a lot of good ones. And they're just ordinary. They might have been great in college. NFL weeds a lot of that out. And it's just hard to get some good ones and much less backups. So after the draft, during the season, everybody's scouring the practice squads and, looking at available, even talent that didn't even get on a practice squad. And offensive linemen, they take such a beating. You have to have a rotation on that. And I really do think, I have said this before, I get it, you can't allow them to have 100 players. But my goodness, in this day and time with safety at a premium, I don't know why they don't expand the rosters a little bit. At least make them all emergency starters. If you needed them, they're there. There's just a lot of injuries in the NFL. No matter what they've done, it's a violent game. And there's a lot, even innocent stuff where you're rolling up on these linemen, they get rolled up on their legs. They get knee injuries, lower turf toes, whatever it is. And they just can't push off. I can't imagine what they look like on a Sunday on a Monday back in the weight room, what they look like, beaten up, or if they played on Thursday, whatever, what their body looks like and what they're going through. And, you go all that time and then you get on a team and then in training camp, you get your knee hit by a helmet or something, you're out for the year. That's a tough blow. And it happens every year. two or three of these, either in the stars or two or three of these really high draft picks, they go in and they get hurt in preseason game or whatever, and they're out for the year. And that's a hard one to swallow because you know you need their help. They may not be a starter yet, or they may be, but you need their help. Now you've lost them for the year. That's tough. The concussion thing, although I think the NFL likes to think they've got that behind them, that's still out there. You know, there are all these players and retired, and some bad things have happened to them. It's still happening, and I don't know where that's going to go, but this is not over. I like what they're doing, the concussion protocols. You've definitely seen that where a player, the doctor says not going, and they pull them. I think that's a win, but they're going to have to continue their research. They've done a lot with helmets. They're going to have to do more. There's not much you can do about a violent stop and that the brain's still moving. Not much you can do, but the more you can transfer that energy somehow around the skull and out in a way as best you can, somehow it's cushion that where it's being absorbed not by the person as much, but by the equipment, the better we'll be. I can imagine what some of these studies will be ongoing. We try to ignore the problem. It's not going away. And then now it's even showing up in other sports. People thought it was just a football problem. No, it's showing up in other sports, and players have gotten, things, either basketball or whatever, even in baseball. You see it. Collisions happen. Hard hits to the ground, turfs. See the head bounce off. It don't have to be football. You fall down or knock down, head's bouncing off the turf, which a lot of these teams use. Damage is going to occur, and it's just going to have to be a lot ongoing with that. The threat from the rise of it hasn't affected the NFL thus far, but the rise of soccer in the country, it's ongoing as the favorite of people in the country now. A lot of them it's soccer. Football is still in the South for sure. I can tell you it's king, but soccer's on the rise. Some of the big cities, and even in my city that's next to me, soccer is huge. We still love our football, and it has to play a role. And some parents say, I'd really like for them to play soccer versus football. Rams on the pick is in. See what's going on. Ravens on the clock. They got very close. A few players still left in the green room. Ty Simpson. He was talked about maybe with this pick, but who knows? There's really, after him, it's a big drop-off. Not that there's not some talent there, but it's a little bit more of a project. He's pretty solid, played in a big program, was very accurate. The selection, Ty Simpson, yes, to the Rams. So you do decide to make that move. Working for the future. Give him a chance to work with a Georgia quarterback. And I see the SEC represented. He's a good kid, got that All-American look. So the Rams do pull the trigger there. Might be a little bit earlier than some teams thought. Again, though, that's going to push some other players down the list a little bit. Ravens pick is in. Buccaneers, first picks for both these teams on the clock. Only the one trade so far. It seems like everybody's really pleased with where things fallen out. If they have multiple needs, they're probably just looking at, we'll get to the pick that we need. Somebody's going to be there. We're going to need them because we got a lot of needs. And you're in this draft. There's a lot of talent. There'll be probably in the lower draft rounds. There'll be maybe a little bit of movement if somebody goes and gets somebody that they're really spotlighted that they can get on the cheap deeper in the draft. But this is not it's got a lot of talent in it, but it's not a super draft for quarterbacks. It's pretty good in on the lines. It's pretty good in the backfield and receiver and running back. But it's a weak as far as totality and the quantity of That just become a thing. They all spike the signs now. Quarterback is not as deep. Next year, the 2027 draft, we'll see a lot more quarterbacks taken. There's going to be a lot more options. There's going to be some more quarterbacks taken in this draft. I don't think in the first round. I think that'll be it. There is always that possibility. Teams get really enamored with somebody, but I think they'll all be second round on. So the rest of this round, first round, and they're working their way through it pretty quick. We're up to pick 14, the Ravens pick, and then the Buccaneers. So we're right at the halfway mark, a little bit, almost the halfway mark. Right on schedule. Ravens, offensive line, wide receiver, edge, defensive line, tight end. The window is closing on the Ravens with that current crop of talent. Because they're going to be getting older. They haven't gotten it done. They folded up in the playoffs. Quarterback has not had great games. I don't know what it is about that moment, but it's just not been there for them. I would have thought. I picked them 2 seasons in a row to win the thing. Hasn't happened. So some of the nice throws from Simpson. He's definitely a guy that can make the throws. He's a smart player. He can move good enough. This is a prototypical top quarterback for the Rams. And if you'll notice, a lot of the quarterbacks now, it's sort of coming back to the drop back passer who can get out of trouble and move. There are still those smaller, I'm going to say even smaller, but fast ones that they can pull down and run. There's still going to be that. But the NFL has went back because those guys are getting beat up. And so you need a guy that can, get you a few yards here and there, but it's not a big part of his game. It's just when they're in trouble or as a counter. And these first 2 picks at quarterback exemplify that. And so you're seeing that even Mahomes, who ran a lot early on, he doesn't run as much anymore. You're putting your quarterback at risk. They're just too important to the team. And, there's a lot of ways to look at it. I'm not saying I'm right on all that, but that's the way it seems to me because some teams, they got so beat up at quarterback, there was just nobody. And then the play goes down, then the fans get mad. I mean, you got a 3-0 game. There's no movement of the ball. You're punting more than anything, and that's frustrating. And I get it. I think they're a little bit too cautious with the quarterback. Some of the things that they call, but they had to do something, and I think that's probably fair for, the picking the player up and pile them into the ground. They're just not going to allow that. You can do it. You're going to get penalized big time. I think some of the stuff they do, though, is ridiculous. I mean, I just do, but that is their biggest commodity. That's the most important commodity they have is the quarterback. Makes everything go. The Rams are a very good team. Hopefully Nakua can get his problems straight. He's been in rehab, the other kind. A tremendously talented player, but it's run up on some stuff. It's really strange, the whole story about the reporter and the coach, and the coach is not going to be there on Saturday. Going to be going to get some help with talking with family and others. It's a very bizarre time. It's not a story that the NFL would want to have on the eve of the draft. The Ravens, it's hard to say that. They've been a great team. They really have. Pick is in. And there we go. Oh, the guard got the same look. Maybe the same school. No, it's Penn State. What is this thing they're doing? I'm not sure that's something to give them or what that is. I may be totally ignorant here. Why they got this greenery around their neck? I don't. It's pretty cool though. Maybe something they're doing it. So you're getting the hugs. Onan, however you say that. Guard, Penn State, redshirt junior. So Baltimore definitely needs to keep opening up holes for King Henry. Jackson at times. He don't run as much as he used to either. Again, injury. So Pick is in for the Buccaneers. Jets again, their next pick on the clock. Jets have a chance here. They really do. They got Bailey. What do they do with this number 16 pick? Buccaneers looking at cornerback, linebacker, offensive line, defensive line. That's going to be the tell for a lot of these teams. But it's interesting they don't mention anybody as offensively for the Buccaneers, all in the trenches or linebacker and corner. So we'll see where the Buccaneers go. Get these players their props up on the stage. I can't wait. Camps will be open. It won't be that long when you think about, how quick that happens. Of course, you have the NFL does this, start where they have the one team, and then they'll have some because this year they're going with that Wednesday game, which is very interesting. And then you have the Thursday game, and then into the Sundays. But I can't wait for the season to start. Always like football, like college football, like NFL. They're doing a special thing on Wednesday this year, but they so we will see. Looking at some of the that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. On a commercial. I do watch a lot. I have come to really like the Thursday night and Sunday night, and of course Monday night football. Now, I like early games, but sometimes that's you're getting in. If you go to church and you maybe you want to go eat, you get home late for the 1 o'clocks. Maybe catch them by halftime. The NFL Network is calling it a stunner, the Ram select of Ty Simpson. I don't know if I would say a stunner. I thought it was. I thought it was a pretty good decision by them. There's always ways you can look at it. So we'll see. As we get through the rest of the round, thanks for joining the Southern Patriots and Wolf Nation Podcast Radio TV. Dallas had traded up for that spot. They knew what they wanted. There's still some really good players left that'll be that are on the board for this first round. A lot of safeties. You still got a Mark Cooper Jr. at wide receiver from Indiana, who was catching those balls from Mendoza. Another player I really like at cornerback, Jamad McCoy, played at Tennessee Jr. Colton Hood also in that backfield at Tennessee. The Georgia offensive lineman, Monroe Freeling, his ceiling is really high. He's a good kid. He's a junior. Boston wide receiver of Washington, highly talked about. And maybe the guy that maybe got more talk than anybody was Casey Concepcion, the A&M receiver, junior. This guy has star potential all over him. He does it all. He has elite burst. He's a little undersized, but his speed is there. Sometimes he struggles with the hands, but he gets separation. He gets down the field. He'll come across the middle. He'll do the slants. He's a dynamic playmaker. So we'll see where he kind of ends up. He will most likely be selected for this first round is over. And I really thought, and of course, the Georgia linebacker, C.J. Allen, the do-it-all linebacker, doesn't come off the field. He can stay out there the whole time. I'm interested to see where he goes. Somebody's going to get a really good player, a good person. And Just a heck of a player. Heck of a player. He'll give you all you got. He's very talented. Reuben Bain Jr., that was the one I was just fixing to mention earlier. To the Bucks. So they get their edge guy. The Jets, again on the clock. Or the pick is in, for them. The Lions on the clock. For the Lions, offensive line, edge, safety, cornerback, and linebacker. They took a step back. Thought they might even have a potential at the Super Bowl at one point. This is a really good team. I like Jamar Gibbs from Alabama, from right down below me in Dalton, Georgia. Talked to a young guy here last year who went to school with him, was a friend, played soccer, and he said he's always been good, and he's a top-notch human being. I mean, just a really good guy. And somebody that played local school with him, somebody that played pickup games with him. Thank you, Desi, for the like. Hope you all are doing well on this Thursday night at 9:39 Eastern Standard Time, watching the first round. Reuben Bain with the glasses coming in. Edge. He's the shortest first round edge rusher since 03. Well, he plays big. He plays big. That's all the evaluation, too, is who's going to be the bust. There'll be a bust or two. It happens. Who's going to be the guy that just doesn't turn out. Maybe he stays injured the whole time, never really plays. So we'll see. Tampa Bay's got the kind of team, though, with their coverage and everything. I think this guy will be fine because they disguise their blitzes. They come from different directions and stuff. They'll use his versatility, speed, and things like that. He'll be fine. He'll be one of those guys that gets kind of lost in the crowd. Next thing you know, he's blazing towards the quarterback and getting leverage on that running back and getting up underneath him. The Jets pick is in. Don't know what it is yet. They list quarterback, edge, wide receiver, cornerback, offensive line. I don't think they'll be taking quarterback. Probably defense. Wouldn't be shocked to see them taking offensive lineman, but I think they're going defense here. Again, they got Bailey. I could see them addressing need on the back end or the line, getting another lineman, see where they're at. But, they may go offensive line. Who knows? That's a possibility. Absolute possibility. It's tough. The Cowboys have another pick coming up. Now they moved up and got their guy. They still got the 20th pick. Got the Vikings and the Panthers coming up. As soon as we see the Jets, the Lions are on the clock. The pick is not in. We're fixing to see the Jets pick. Where do they go with the second pick? Can the Jets improve themselves? Can they get moving ahead here? I mean, fans are starved. If there is a fan base that is starved for a winner, it's the Jets. There are others that can compete for that spot. But this team has been so bad for so long. They get their hopes up and it gets dashed. They have a passionate fan base, whether you like them or not. They have a passionate fan base, and they're all in. They will support. They will take these guys. They'll be pushed to the very top. They'll support them, cheer for them. If the Jets could ever figure out a way to really become a winner, wow! I mean, the pandemonium that going on there. I mean, they have a great fan base. They really do, and they have to be. I mean, you think about them, as bad as they've been for so many seasons, with a few decent seasons mixed in. I mean, this team was an early Super Bowl winner. I mean, and if they could just get to a point. I mean, they got a tough coach up there. Can he survive it? New York's tough. They're not going to give you time to wait. They're wanting action now, and they're frustrated. That's a frustrated fan base, but they will support. But they're going, they need to make some really great picks here and just get this team better. I think they've already got off to a good start. Got the green on the screen for the Jets. And there it is. They decided to go with that tight end. From Oregon, he didn't get too far down the list. Kenyon Sadiq. And again, this is a good one. He's a really good Lions. The pick is in. The Vikings are on the clock. Kenyon, he can do it all from Oregon. I mean, I think Jets fans will be happy with some offense. They need to score more points. They look very happy in the I have a big heart for tight ends. I really like, because when I played, I didn't play for school. I played a lot of football, but not for the school. But I wasn't fast. I had good hands. I wasn't fast as a receiver. I could run good routes, but I felt like more like a tight end. I would line up a lot when we played at tight end. That was kind of my forte, was working that, in between the line of scrimmage and about, 5 to 10 yards out, and just working that and just spinning that defender around, occasionally going deep. We'd run different schemes. I just like tight end. The NFL one time, they almost seemed like they got away from receiving tight ends. And now there's all these excellent tight ends coming into the league. Teams in college, that's their difference maker. Georgia's been doing it for a while. There is a Georgia tight end in this draft. He will do well. Probably going to be in the second or third round. Probably more like the third round. He's a good talent, got good hands, good speed. He's still, I think, filling out in his size. But all the teams, you look at it, they've got these. They've got and some of them can duel. They're just so good. And so you still have other tight ends that get on the line for protection, drive the ball, and all that. But you have got to have a guy that can run out there and disrupt these coverages, just going up the seam. That's what the tight end does. A guy like Lockley, I like him. Kelsey's has set a standard. He's slowed down a little bit, but he can still get you 8 to 10 touchdowns. And he can come in and block. You're expected to do that. But those at Georgia, they do that. There's other teams. I mean, there's some really good tight ends. It is an important position. It's good to see them make that pick. I think that's a good pick for them. They got their defensive guy. They get their offensive guy. We'll see what they do the rest of the draft. Their first round is done. We got a few teams left. The Lions pick is in. The Vikings are up. Then it'll be the Panthers, Cowboys, Steelers. Well, they'll be going crazy on this one. Where in the world will they go? There's quarterback, offensive lineman, wide receiver, tight end, linebacker. This is another team, the Steelers, that the league needs to do well. It's the history of the team. And when I was in school, that was the team. It wasn't no Cowboys. Oh, there was a lot of fans like it. But in my high school, I didn't see Cowboys much. I saw Steelers. That's what I saw in the 70s. I saw the Steelers lunch boxes. I saw the jerseys, the shirts, the hats, you name it. In my high school, I did not see Cowboys at my school. If I did, it was rare. They were huge fans of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Huge. Dallas, that kind of came later, even though they'd had some, good seasons and Super Bowls and all that. That became the 90s thing. And then, they just can't seem to get back there. Some would blame their coach. Some would blame the coach that he's messed around with the team too much. But does Jerry have another Super Bowl in him? His family's going to be there. They're going to take over this team when he moves to the side. But you think of how they won, and how much more should they have won, honestly, with the talent that they had. They had all the recipe to be successful for 25 years. And a lot of people believe he just messed it up. Jimmy Johnson was a genius. And of course, Switzer got one, but they would say that's Jimmy's team. He did come in and win. And they have beat on the door and beat on the door and beat on the door. And they just haven't been able to get there. They spend a lot of money. They're always, put everything into their product. I'll give him that. He goes big. Everything's big in Texas. And he wants to be the biggest, so he wants to out-rival his rival, the Texans. But then really everybody in the league, he wants to be that guy, that owner. But he's kind of like Arthur Blank for the Falcons. You got to let the men make decisions. You can't be in there messing with it. And I think that I agree. That's probably a problem. Let's see who the Lions go with. A lot of defense listed and offensive line. That makes sense. Like I say, just about every team lists offensive line. I would kind of think the Lions are going to go defense, though. They have needs there. It's a bigger need for them. They had trouble stopping people at times. They would score. There's no problem in their scoring the offensive side. They do need, and they need offensive linemen, no doubt. But I think they go defense, and we will see who they go with. No announcement yet. I like Detroit. I always liked them. They played on Thanksgiving. Who didn't like Barry Sanders? My gosh, what a player! And I see Gibbs now, and I got to think Barry would enjoy that he's there and how good he is. And this is a good team. I mean, the quarterback came there. Everything clicked. They've got a really good offense. They had a defense they just need some improvement there. And they're a team that the coach goes for it a lot. Fans like that. Fourth down, don't care. We're going. That beat him in a game late last year. And I even said at the time, I know you usually go for it. I was hollering at the TV, but don't go on this one. It was late. I think it's playoffs or something. I don't remember. Late season or playoffs. I can't remember. And it didn't work. And they ended up losing the game. The Detroit Lions. Here we go. 9-5 they were. So we got listed here. Who's the pick? Do they go defense or do they surprise everybody? And they got to talk about Make a Wish. A little delay. Blake Miller, offensive tackle. So they did go offense. Clemson senior. They said, no, we're going to block for Jamar, and we're going to get our quarterback some help. Blake Miller. Vikings pick is in. Panthers on the clock. That's a good offensive lineman's name, Blake Miller. It'd be almost like a linebacker named Blake Miller. Clemson hasn't won a lot like they did, but they still recruit really well. You know, the coach does not use the portal. Very, very rare. Just takes a lot of heat for that. But he can recruit, and it's always a fight with Georgia and other teams. South Carolina, and for talent out there, they have a lot of talent in South Carolina, and they're bringing a lot of that home. So it's a big rivalry for us. I think they should come on over to the SEC, in my opinion. There they are celebrating at home with the family or wherever they're at. I guess that's somebody's home. Sometimes they rent the like the bachelor pad, like looks like some rich dudes. They're not in their house. 6'6" and over 6'6", 317, I think it said. Showing some of his highlights. But they rent this place, bring everybody in, but it's just rented for the weekend or the night or whatever. You know. So sometimes it's at home, sometimes it's not. Vikings, this is a mystery team. This team, it didn't really work out at quarterback so far. They brought in the other quarterback. We'll see what happens in training camp. There was some remarks made by their star receiver about the quarterback from Michigan. We'll see how that works out in the locker room. But they decided to go defensive tackle, Florida senior Caleb Banks. SEC now back on the board. Caleb Banks, defensive tackle, Florida senior, to the Minnesota Vikings. So there you go, Vikings fans. I don't dislike the Vikings. I like their stadium. I like the horns and all that. I think that's cool. The Viking was pretty cool playing there. I like to beat them, but Panthers on the clock. The pick is in. The Cowboys are on the clock. And they list everything defense but offensive lineman for the Cowboys. Panthers listing offensive line, safety, wide receiver, tight end, D-line. Making that call for the Vikings. Vikings faithful are happy. Or at least they're just having a good time. Oh, yeah. Big celebration. Wherever they're coming from. He's getting beat up by his friends there and family as they like to push and slap and all those good things. From Miami. He's down in Miami. Big man, 6'6", 327. He says, "Get out of my way. I'm coming in." Florida has a lot of talent. They just haven't put it together. I've thought that they've underperformed for several years now. I don't know if it's coaching or what, but they have talent. They have a lot of talent. How could you not, being in Florida? And they do. This is a really good team. They don't perform it on the field for the wins. He's a beast, like a man on a mission. There's mom. She's saying, "Smile, baby. We getting paid." Dad's over there. Yeah, yeah. That's my boy. Feel like he likes to be on camera. Oh, sometimes in these get-togethers, there is some family that says, "Hey, look, I love you. I'm rooting for you. I'll be watching from somewhere. I just don't want to be on camera." They're going to look at it several times. Some people are funny about that. I don't want to be on camera. My wife is not like that. She don't like to be on camera. Love it. The 2026 NFL draft. Still love the NFL as a playing the games. I don't love the organization, the entity, the company that's the NFL. But I'll give them their props. They are a massively successful enterprise that has, you can tell you're really strong when you alienate a lot of your fan base and you do not slip seemingly at all. They want to dominate the other leagues, dominate them. If the NFL could, I heard this on sports radio here recently. I agree with it. They would play every night of the week. They would dominate the ratings. They would control over other sports. They have that power. This is a power entity, and it just keeps getting stronger. There's a lot of talk about adding a game. The players are like, "No way, man, we can't do it. We'll be beat up for the playoffs and all that." But that they would. I think you're maxed out, but I do think expansion will come. And I think there'll be a team or two move as well. For me, the question is always like, I think, what cities are out there that could still support an NFL team or baseball. I have said recently I thought there'll be a relocation. I don't think expansion. I think there's going to be a team move to Nashville for the baseball side of it. The NFL team has got a new stadium being built. And so there's a lot of good things. They've got some young, exciting talent. They've added to that tonight. But can it translate to wins on the field? Who's to say? Commercial break. Panthers pick is in. Eagles on the clock. Listing edge, offensive line, safety, wide receiver, tight end. Got all of those Georgia players on that defense. Jordan Davis, Kobe Dean, others. I like the Eagles. Is Hurts the forever for the next few years quarterback there? A lot of talk about that. Has he lost the locker room to a degree? He's one wide receiver that's not happy with him. He's a tremendously talented kid. He's overcome every time he's been pushed down. He rises up, but he has a lot of pressure on him. I think this year is going to say a lot about what they do going forward. Would they dare go to another person and lose him? It's controversial. But sometimes that Eagles offense stagnated, and Hurts took a lot of blame for that. The down the field stuff, they were not getting it down there. A.J. Brown, not happy. He's used to really rocking it. Wasn't getting the ball the way he wanted. They're never happy, but he is a tremendously talented player. And there he goes, Monroe Freeling, another offensive tackle from Georgia. This is a good pick no matter what team. These offensive linemen, these are really talented ones they've been showing. Monroe Freeling, yes, he is a Georgian. I'm not putting him there because of being at Georgia. This guy is, like I said, his ceiling is really high. And this is a great pick by the Panthers. They need help. They need to help around that young quarterback. They started putting it together last year a little bit. Their owner is horrible. I mean, look at some of the things he's done and said. But this is a great pick. He stays close to home. He goes and plays for the Panthers. I like this pick. I like it for him. I like it for the Panthers. And he should be there for a good long time. This is a big man, and he is still developing. But we have a trade alert with the Cowboys going on. Cowboys trade to Philly. So the Eagles are now. Oh, that was already shown. I just didn't see it on TV, so I wonder why. But the Eagles on the clock. Pick is in. But I like Monroe Freeling. He's a heck of a player. I mean, he can play. He can start right now. He don't need to sit on the bench. He's not a backup. This is a guy you put in there now. In fact, all three of these are. This is a guy you got to get out there. He will open up the holes. He's a beast. Plays hard. And he's just going to get better. He has that look. Super excited. Still nice. First round. Very nice. All right. Who do the Eagles take? Oh, there it is. Lemon, the wide receiver from USC. Getting some more weapons. Well, maybe this is AJ's replacement. Maybe. A lot of talk about that. He's talented, but he's also caused some problems. Talking about AJ Brown. There's no doubt about his ability, but maybe this was not like they're looking to get rid of him. But if something happens, they say, Mekhi Lemon, maybe he's our guy to slide in there in case he ends up leaving. He's gone. So a protected pick. Maybe not the best player yet left, but a need pick for them in case it doesn't work out with Brown. So that's the good thing about now in the NFL. Coming out of college. Not that you have a lot of elite, but there's a few more elites than there were. And this draft is really good for the receiver. It was pretty deep. I'm still a little shocked, to be honest. I thought they would probably roll somewhere else. But they wanted this pick bad. And whatever Dallas is looking at is still going to be there, I'm believing. So they're not worried about that. So Steelers on the clock. Quarterback, offensive line, wide receiver, tight end, linebacker. I'm guessing it's not going to be tight end. I'm guessing it's not going to be quarterback. Who knows? If I had to guess here, I'd say offensive line or linebacker. Maybe the wide receiver. Maybe. So we'll see. This will be pick number 21 coming up. 36 picks in the first round. 32, excuse me. Remember, some don't have a pick. Some have double picks. That's what threw me out. It's not that many teams, but sometimes you get extra picks at the end of the first round. But there's a number of teams that do not have a first round pick. There's one team, if I remember right, doesn't have a first or second round pick. Some teams have only got 4 picks in the whole draft. Really bad pick draft management there, I think. No matter who they were getting. The Eagles, 5'11", 192. Devontae Smith is still there. This is a good pick. I'm just a little shocked that they did go that route because you can get receivers later in the draft. Maybe not to his level, but I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of talent in the wide receiver room, so to speak. Playing in that slot, got some good moves, good hands. I don't know about this one. I think the AJ rumors must be pretty strong for them to go here. They have a lot of talent on offense. maybe they did need another receiver because a lot of it's been on the running back. I get that, but I'm still a little shocked. I really thought they would go a little bit more on the defense for this one. They're still filling some spots there, so we'll see. I don't know. I could be dead wrong. So all you USC fans and Eagles fans, uh, I'm not sure on this one. I'm just not sure because the problems they have, I don't think, are the talent on the field. The disconnect is Hurts between some of those players and how he handles himself, and he doesn't take control like some quarterbacks do. He's a little bit. He needs to get a hold of that huddle more. It's not a question of talent; they have the talent. I think this was maybe a reach for them, and then to do it in the trade as well. Okay, but we'll see. I just question this one a little bit from my perspective, my analysis. Um, we'll see. We'll see. I like the Eagles. I've always liked them. Go back to days of Reggie White, and Jerome Brown, and Randall, all those Donovan. They didn't always win where they should, but I like those. I like the Eagles. Always liked them. Just when we play them, I root against them. So we'll see. So hopefully your team, hopefully you're happy with, or maybe you've not picked yet, or maybe you don't have a pick. So I can't even celebrate my pick. Steelers pick is in, Chargers on the clock, then the Cowboys pick, then the Browns, and the Bears for the first time, number 25, the Bills for the first time, 26, the 49ers first time, 27, the Texans first time, 28. Then you get back into some doubles, Chiefs, Dolphins. Patriots will have their first one, and Seahawks at the very end of the round. So we are streaming towards that. We'll see what the pick is. They'll drag us out just a little longer because they're in their city. The host city, showing some highlights. All those great Pittsburgh teams. Lynn Swan, Franco Harris. Like I said, when I was in high school, I didn't see a lot of Cowboy stuff. I seen Pittsburgh. Everybody was, if it was football, it was usually Pittsburgh when I was in high school. And when you went 4 Super Bowls, of course. Drones flying over the crowd. It's a lot of people there. Like I said, the NFL deserves a heck of a lot of credit. This many people, all the people phones up, look at thousands of people. What they've done with this huge NFL draft party they've done, it's like the biggest festival concert you've ever seen. The streets are filled. The economic impact on the cities that host this, and for the most part, I haven't heard of any violence or anything. They've done a really good job running this thing. They get all their things in. They're either bringing out some of the players. This is big for them. I mean, some of the. We'll see. Does that mean Joe Green, or is he still around with us? I can't remember. I don't have the sound up, so forgive me. But it is a big moment. Got a lot of people on stage, different uniforms. Hall of Famer. So we'll see. And here we go. Yeah, I give the NFL a lot. They do through the draft. They do get a lot of organizations FaceTime, and most of those are good things. I don't have a fault with that. It's not like I'm bringing the politics in, but I think it's good. It's obviously the crowd is filled from young to old, man to woman. I mean, they really do a good job with this. And people hate on the NFL, but like I said, they just seem to get stronger. Okay, they took the offensive tackle, Max Hinacor, Arizona State senior, being announced on the stage. Maximilian. It's a good Pittsburgh type pick. Good pick. He's not there. He's at home. Got a lot of people there. That's a cool thing. What a moment in your life. You'll never forget this night. And there's only so many that get there. Remember the year some players have been left in the green room. They had to come back. Day 2, they didn't get taken. I mean, that happened before. Day 3, they finally get selected. Embarrassing. The only player sitting back there is like ghost town. I think the NFL may have to redo this a little bit. This green room was pretty filled, but there were a lot of players that sat at home, and it's become a popular trend. So they still have a lot of players that are coming out. They may have to maybe rethink it a little bit, make an incentive for people to be there. I don't know, but it is definitely affecting how many top tier talent players are in the room. And anybody that's borderline on the first round, they don't want to show up because they're afraid it's a bad look for their career and everything to be picked over, to be skipped over. What a moment. He looks like a Steeler. A lot of emotions. 21st pick overall. Chargers pick is in. Cowboys on the clock. Everything needs is picked on defense with one offensive lineman slot mentioned. Then the Browns and the Bears. Very nice. I've enjoyed this. I appreciate those that are listening and watching and stopping by, maybe changing in and out. We appreciate you for being here. Again, we do racing. We do interviews for our dirt truck report. Racing is usually sometimes we do multiple days because the interviews we have. We cover NASCAR. We cover the dirt truck scene. We do a lot of interviews with track owners, drivers. Our last interview was with a person who does the paint schemes and all that, comes up with that for iRacing as well. We're going to be interviewing more people in the iRacing realm. So we do a lot with that. We talk sports every week. Wolf Nation Sports or SFP Sports. The Wolf Nation, you'll probably see more because the SFP is tied with our racing night. We cover sports with that. We definitely try to keep up and go on as much as we can. And we'll announce it in our other shows, but we also have shows on music and history. Yes, some news. We'll do that. We have puppets. We have a lot of different kind of shows. Our Wolf Nation show, very popular. Cornbread Nation show as well. Sunday Morning in the Word, another show we have. Celebrating, we cover the NASCAR live, just like we're doing tonight. Talk about the race, if you like race, if you don't. New shows are on the way. Get our Substack. See the QR code up there. Give us a free follow on the Substack. We will be having a paywall soon for some programming, but most will stay where it's at and free. We're just trying to reinvest in the podcast. I'm Dave, the Cornbread Man, and got that name by another podcaster, and it stuck, and I like it. All right. Chargers, Akeem Massador, edge, Miami, senior. So the Chargers go defense. Got that edge man, the senior. Cowboys on the clock. Then the Browns. He's also, again, another one that's not, they're not there in Pittsburgh. They're at home or wherever they're at. So you're seeing a lot of, as you get a little bit deeper in the draft, first round, a lot of players are at home or at some location where they're celebrating and they're not in the green room. There are still players there. So we'll see. But like I said, I think they've had to adjust. You're getting a little bit fewer players that show up. They don't want to be that guy that's sitting there and they want to celebrate with their friends. It's real restrictive, the green room, so they can only do a little bit of folks. This has become the popular thing. The NFL is going to have to make adjustments to that. Akeem Massador, edge, Miami. Showing that burst and speed. Good reach. The Miami team was so talented on the defense. 22nd pick in the first round of the NFL draft, 2026. The Cowboys still not had the pick come in. They got 4 minutes, 25 seconds, at least by that clock, if it's still right. See who the Cowboys go with. Of course, earlier the Cowboys went up and got Caleb Downs, the Ohio State player, junior, and we'll see the Cowboys select. Cowboy Cook, if you're out there listening somewhere, I hope you're happy. Your Cowboys, so-called America's team, I challenge that. I think Jerry made them not anything America's team. The Cowboys, I know there's a lot of Cowboy fans. I'm not cracking on them. They deserve their props. They are one of the, if not the most, right there at the top, most valued NFL team, really of all sports teams. They're at the very top. Their value just continues to rise and explode. Jerry wants another Super Bowl. It's been a while. It's like the guy with the fishing rod, the money on it. You almost had it. You just can't get there. They definitely went out and they've drafted pretty well. They went through some coaches. Just can't get it done. But they are always among usually the league leaders in the league and the playoffs. And sometimes go deeper in the playoffs. They have not made the selection yet. They're still on the clock. Could they be even thinking about trading this pick? Again, picking up more? The pick is in. So as I said that, the Browns are on the clock. Who might the Cowboys go with? So-called America's team. You know, they used to have the most dominant offensive line in all of football. That is not quite the same yet. So I wouldn't be surprised. Some of the ones they would have liked to have selected are gone. I kind of think it's defense, but it wouldn't be shocking to see them go offensive line. Or with Jerry, you never know. He may go something completely different than anybody's thinking about. I've read a little bit leading up to the draft on the Cowboys, looking at some of the things they're looking at. Of course, I knew that they're really happy with what they got. This team is already very talented. A lot of you got CeeDee Lamb, you're very talented, but they've got a lot of players all over the place that are really talented. They're the top at their position in the league, and among them is the quarterback. And no, he hasn't gotten it done. And can he get it done? So we'll see. That's to be said. I just don't think they're the Super Bowl pick for this year. We'll see how far they go. I don't think they're going to make it. I think there's some other teams that are better. But that's why you play in the playoffs. And so we'll see. But they are tremendously challenged in their own division. That whole division is getting better. The Eagles have already been ahead of them. But the Giants are getting better. You just see some of those teams improving. Cowboys got to keep pace. That's a tough division, always has been. Cowboys have kind of owned it there for a while, but not so much anymore. Who did the Cowboys pick? Who gets to put the star on their hat? They're not at the very top, but do very well in merchandise sales. CeeDee Lamb jerseys will be right up the list. Best available, Boston, Zion Young. Heard a lot about him. He should be going here pretty quick. So we'll see. Still haven't announced. The Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones. And they went edge, Malachi Lawrence, UCF senior. The Cowboys. So they did go work on that defensive side of the ball for both picks, and they're looking to stop people more. They had a problem with that at times. I mean, they could move the ball and score. They would get scored on as much or more as they were scoring. The Browns on the clock again, second pick for them as well, then the Bears. Browns just have so many needs. It's just really, honestly, for them, best available. Which a lot of teams do is their theory on this, select the best available. Some go to need. The Browns just need to pick the best available player. Forget the position. They're going to need it, and they do need it, and just keep doing that. You know, earlier in the night, They went offensive tackle, got Spencer Fano from Utah. And let's see where they go this time. Quarterback, offensive line, wide receiver, cornerback, edge, all listed. So I could see defensive line here, edge, or who knows, maybe even a wide receiver. There's a lot of good talent left on the clock for wide receiver. And then the Bears. The Bills drafting at 26. Can the Bills finally push it over the top? This is a team that's a favorite for the Super Bowl every year. Comes up short. The 49ers, can they continue to be that team? Bears on the clock. Browns pick is in. We shall see. Cowboys have done a good job. I give them props. They've done a good job. They know where their needs are, and they didn't splash in and get an offensive player or anything. They know where their needs are, and they're going after that. So good for them. Who's the Browns get? You could just drop any player in the middle of this. Take the next 5 best available and pick one of them and drop it in, and they're going to play a lot. Browns need so much. Bears, Bills, 49ers, Texans, Chiefs, Dolphins, Patriots, Seahawks. So we have a few picks left. And then we'll get off of here. Thanks for everybody being here. 10:20 Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast. Wolf Nation Sports with Dave, Cornbread Man, based in Northwest Georgia, almost in Tennessee. We're so Northwest Georgia. I can be in Tennessee in 5 minutes. I can be in Alabama in about 30, 35, maybe 40. Maybe it's 40. Depends on which way I go. Certainly within an hour, I could be in Alabama. And going the other way, about an hour, I could be in North Carolina. So we're right here in that Tri-Cities kind of area. Browns pick is in. Still haven't announced. Bears on the clock. Bears done so good. Played above what I thought they would play a little bit. They showed that you can rebuild yourself, put yourself back out there, and get back in the playoffs. Listen up, Falcons. You need to make some positive moves. They don't have a pick tonight. Dub the Browns, the dog pound. So weird. The Browns go to Baltimore, and then they get their team back. What a strange time. Art Modell. Man, he was a hated man for a long time. I give him credit, though. He went to Baltimore to build a powerhouse. He really did. But, boy, the Browns fans will never forgive him. And they, such a legendary team. It's really a shame that they just can't seem to get it together. The Haslam brothers owning the team now made all their money in fuel stations. Pilots, Flying J. They still own a piece of that, I think. But from Tennessee, owner of the Browns. And it hasn't worked out. Not really. So they're another one of those that they just need to get out of the way and get the right people in there and leave it alone. I don't know that they overstep, but people there would, they want to do well. It's a legendary team. It's a fun experience to be at the game. It's another rabid, passionate fan base. Who wouldn't want that type of fan base for their team? Some teams don't have that. They just don't have that. They don't come anywhere near it. You think of the weather that their fans stand out there in. They don't care. They eat it up. They defy it. They love their Browns. Cleveland rocks. That's what they're saying, right? And we'll see who the pick is. Got to get through the breaks. It's been a very calm draft. There's been a little bit of trading. No blockbusters, not really. So it really typifies the kind of draft it is. I think you'll see that pick up in the later rounds as people reach to get somebody they're really watching. I think you'll see a little bit more of that. I wouldn't be surprised at the very end of this, to see maybe somebody trade down just a little bit. I thought it might happen. I mean, it's happened a little bit, but I mean, even out of the first round, you know, could somebody move in another pick in the second round, let somebody move into that last spot? Will the Seahawks do that? Maybe not. We'll see. Double picks coming back up. The Chiefs and Dolphins. They've already made selections. They get have second picks. Here we go. The Browns, and there you go. Concepcion. That's the guy. That's the dude. That's the one that I think is going to be the star. Unfortunately, went to the Browns. From A&M, this is a very good pick for them. They got to be able to get on the ball, but they need to get the offense moving. There's a lot of ways they could have won. I don't know that this is the best available, although it may turn out that way. There were some other players listed ahead of him as best left on the defensive side of the ball, especially. This is Cleveland saying, let's get some excitement on the team, get some talent out there. You know, I don't fault the pick. He's a player that can really light it up, can do it all. Got the moves, the speed, the hands. He's elite. He's speed, I believe. And this is a good pick. Like I said, they can use anything they can get. So they already, if you look at, what they did earlier, I mean, it makes a lot of sense in the fact that, they go out and they get their offensive tackle, and now they go receiver, get this offense going. They did have trouble scoring at times. So the offensive coordinators around will be very happy. Plug and play. Can they get the quarterback play right? They've had struggles at running back at times. At times they've been good. I remember the days of Chubb, the injuries, there, and he had, they've had good success. Excuse me, with some other players. As we get a little closer, we'll start evaluating these teams as we look at how this fits together. The Bears, the pick is in. Bills on the clock. And commercial is up. Got to pay the bills. Can the Bears duplicate what they did last year? This quarterback looks to be the dude. They really showed a lot this past season. They came back from being behind, and they need probably to go offensive line, even though they have some needs there. I wouldn't fault the receiver either if they wanted to go that way, because they did need another receiver. They've made some moves in the offseason, gave up some, picked up some. But I would think offensive line, maybe wide receiver here, if they don't want to go defense. But this quarterback was on the run a lot. They need to get some help there. Besides what they've done in free agency, they need to get some help on the offensive line. So we'll see. The Bears. And the Bills, they list edge, offensive line, linebacker, safety, wide receiver. Got that good Georgia running back there. He's just Brother Cook, Dalvin's brother. Man, what an amazing player. He did it all at Georgia. He can go deep for you. He can run at the seam. He can work through the line. He's got great hands, great speed, smart player. Started his career with a fumble. He overcame that. I couldn't believe it. Like, he started his career with a fumble. But James Cook's a great player. And there has been a change here. There's some movement going on. I don't know if they've announced that yet. I see the Bears take the Texans have moved up to 26. They've made a trade. So, interesting. They've made a trade. So who do the Bears? I think that's right. That's what it looks like. Been waiting forever for this Bears pick. Got to play the commercials. I like the Texans. I like the coach. I like the team, the colors. I like them more than the Cowboys. I do. I like the look of this. I hated, that we lost the Oilers. It was the Titans. They became the Titans. But I like this team. I like this coach. They're exciting. It's a good team. But we'll see. We'll see what kind of season they have. So we're waiting on the announcement for the Bears. And like I said, we just have a few picks left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 besides the Bears who have their pick in, the Texans. So we're almost at the end. Let's close her out. See what happens here. Finish playing the commercials. That'd be great. Really quick, and we didn't. In the bottom of the 8th, the Rangers are leading the Pirates 6-1. Rangers are at 500 right now. The Pirates have done really well. Looks like they're going to take a loss here. So everything is final except that one. And I was trying to think of who. And the Mets did win 10-8 over the Twins. So they did pick up another win. So most of those went the way that we were looking at. No changes there. But the Rangers, we were at 500, leading the 14-10 Pirates 6-1. All right, back on the stage. They're coming in. Pick is in. The Bears. Who do we have? He was high pick. Dylan, from Oregon, the junior. They look to be happy. Oh, they haven't announced it on there yet. So I may be running a little bit behind on the TV. So Dylan Thieneman from Oregon, a junior. So again, celebrations going all around. So working on that defense. And that safety they need. He was the 1 or 2 best talented player left, according to Mel Kipa. Hey, Daryl. Thank you, brother. Thank you. He got the shades going on. So one of the few in those later rounds that's actually still there. I don't even know if he was in the green room. Looks like he's coming from the back of the place or something. So I don't know where he was at. But the Bears, that's another area. I mean, they lost some games on some big plays. They did need. I still think they need offensive line help, but they decide. I mean, if you're going best available, he was in line. Makes sense. It's a position of need for them, and so they're only picking the first round. They go defense, go safety from Oregon. And how far has Oregon came as a team? A lot of fans in the United States have laughed and mocked at Oregon, and they were a little fast team, but they Dan Lanning went there from Georgia. They really have done a great job. They're bringing in a lot of talent. This is not the little fast team that don't have the beef anymore. This team is good. It's really good. Will they win a championship? I don't know, but they've always had the offense. But they are starting to put it together everywhere, and that's that Dan Lanning effect. And you're going to have to deal with them. And these teams are picking up. We have another trade. This is for the Bills. Bills have traded. Texas, the pick is in. We have Dolphins on the clock, but there is a trade announcement, I think. But Oregon is they're to be reckoned with. They're always a a contender for the playoffs, the 12-team playoff, soon to be 16. Let's face it, they're going to be 16 teams. It's going to continue to rise. The sports betting and everything that's going on, fans want it. They're going to get it. It's hard on those student athletes, but you can't stop it. You will not be able to stop what's going to happen. We're certainly going to 16, 12. It won't happen this year, maybe not next year, but within 2 years, there'll be 16 teams in the college football playoff. Bank it. So the Texans pick is in. They were needing offensive line, D-line, linebacker, quarterback, edge. This is a really good team, but this is just needs around the team that they need. Really like their quarterback. I'm glad that we beat them as being a Georgia fan. Good kid. I mean, I see a young man. He's a good kid, though. He's a kid to me. A man of faith, a young man of faith. I'm really impressed. A lot of these quarterbacks that have came into the league in the last few years, a lot of them are Christians, and they are not afraid to show their faith. And I think they're having an impact, being a leader in the locker room. They're not in your face kind of thing or anything like that. They lead with a little bit more quiet reserve as far as that. They're not wearing it on their shoulders and trying to force it. It's not over the top. It's there, though, and you can see that, and they live it. It's real. People that doubted it in the college, look at what they're doing in the NFL. They're very well spoken, and some of these are SEC quarterbacks, and they are young men of faith. That's exciting to me as a Christian that we're getting that kind of character in the NFL. And it's going to have ramifications. All right, these Texans just took Keelan Rutledge, the guard from Georgia Tech, senior. Georgia Tech starting to put it together a little more too. It's that wicked little stepbrother in Georgia. Sorry, Tech fans. The Rambling Wreck from Georgia Tech. They're starting to put more talent out there as well. They've got some more coming too in this draft. Keelan Rutledge, guard. Texans says, we're going to take care of the offensive side of the ball, protect these people. Dolphins, the pick is in. The Bills are on the clock as they made that move. So, Keelan Rutledge, senior, Georgia Tech. Good to see senior. I like to see the players put in the extra year. It worked out for him. He's number 26 in the 26 NFL draft. He played till he was, played his whole career. I'm not saying that everybody should do that. I think it's case by case. Carson Beck definitely needed to stay. I think it'll help him in this draft, even though he's the loner title they've got over now, the label. Some players leave too early. You got to look at who's coming out. Be wise about it. Some players just enjoy the experience. They're making money in college now. They take insurance out on their, if something happens. Daryl says, what team is having the best draft in this first round, in your opinion? There's a couple of candidates for that. I've got to give a lot of credit to the Dallas Cowboys. I really think that they put together a good game plan so far. I don't fault their picks, whatever. And another team, I think the Jets, believe it or not, they've been faulted before for some of their picks. They went defense. They went and got that offensive tight end. He's the dude at tight end in the, some of these are double picks. But I think there are two. Obviously, I would say it's the best. The Raiders got their quarterback. But as far as the best, I would put those two right there. I think those were excellent picks by the Cowboys. Another team, and we're going to see kind of what it happens because it's yet to be seen because their pick is in right now. The Dolphins have already picked. And I like the player, Caden Proctor from the University of Alabama. Who do they have and where do they go? This team needs a lot of stuff. But I think, and not just because it's doubles, I think they're making good selections of this, and they're hitting the needs that they have. So their pick is in. We'll see what the Dolphins do. And maybe it may be a reach, but I do kind of like what the Browns have done. But right now, I really say, the Cowboys are a team that they're not bad. They're a good team. This is a team that can win the Super Bowl. I don't think they will, but, Jones has been noted for going for the splash player. He takes gambles. It looks like they've really done their homework. They've moved around a little bit to get the one they wanted. They're addressing needs on the team. Caleb Downs is absolutely a star, that Ohio State talent. And I like the fact that they followed it up with an edge and they're addressing their defense. So right now, I would probably say Dallas. There's a few teams I would put honorable mention. Like I said, I'm waiting to see what the Dolphins do. And the Chiefs as well with a second pick. That was a team that, drafted fairly early before. And we'll just see. So it looks to me, there's maybe one pick in here that I was like, I can see it in one way, but I'm not sure. It looks to me like the teams are with, holding. They're trying not to have that splash play pick, giving up the house. There was a pretty big, a pretty big trade, but that was money for picks. But I do like what I see out of these teams. They're selecting, Kansas City went cornerback. They've got a pick coming up. Do they go back and address the offensive line? They're on the clock next, waiting to see the Dolphins pick. But believe it or not, I'm impressed with the Cowboys. They sometimes don't stay within their lane, and they're picking what they need. This is a good team already. They don't need a lot. They're high-powered offense. They had trouble with giving up too many yards and scoring being scored on. This is a need for them, and I'm impressed with that. So we'll see. Now, as far as teams that had like one pick, there's a number of them that I think did good. And some might question the Rams on selecting Ty Simpson, but that team is already good. And I think it anytime your quarterback could go down, he's ready made to play from Alabama. They're not counting on him this year. He's going to get to learn behind a Hall of Famer. And so like I say, I think they did a good job, but they're not going to be listed in the top as far as having the best draft. But I think this one of those that develop down the road, they're going to be saying, man, I'm glad they took that quarterback at that round, if he turns out. All right, the Dolphins go Chris Johnson, quarterback, San Diego State. He also talked about a lot. I think of the running back when I heard about Chris Johnson. So the Dolphins get the great offensive lineman from Caden Proctor from Alabama. So they went offensive line, and now they've went cornerback, Chris Johnson, San Diego State. I don't think this moves them ahead of the Cowboys. It's good talent. It's a need. I'd still leave the Falcons right there. Obviously the Falcons, the Cowboys. Bills are on the clock, then the Chiefs, their second pick, and then 49ers, Patriots, Seahawks. So I like the Bills. I've always liked the Bills. I wanted them to beat the Cowboys when they played them in those Super Bowls. I remember Thurman Thomas scored a touchdown early in one of those, and I jumped up out of my chair and was cheering. And when I landed, I rolled my ankle, and I about passed out. It hurt so bad. I thought I broke it. I didn't, but boy, it hurt. Showing some of the highlights here of this guy, Chris Johnson, San Diego State. Nice to see a school like that. That's not a typical school that you see drafted in the first round. But again, college teams it's being leveled out. We have another trade. The Patriots are now in the number 28 slot. Their first pick. Oh, so close. The Patriots. Edge, offensive line, D-line, tight end, wide receiver. So the Patriots are now in 28. Chiefs are in 29. 49ers, Bills, Seahawks. Who are the Patriots looking at? So we will see. The pick is in. The Chiefs are on the clock. So we'll see. I think the Dolphins did good. They're showing them on the screen. I think they did good with their picks. I really do. But I just think that the Cowboys, again, sometimes it's not about, they're getting better. That's teams that's got to get better. And so you just need help all over the field. The Cowboys don't need help everywhere. So if they want to get into the Super Bowl, they got to develop. They've got to get where they can stop people. These guys are going to play very early. I mean, they're not going to be sitting on the bench. They're coming in to fill a need right away. They may be splitting time with another player. So we'll see. And there it is. The Patriots wanted the offensive tackle from Utah, Caleb Lemieux, redshirt sophomore. You remember a few years ago they selected the offensive lineman from UTC. What was his name? Strange? I got that right? Shocked a lot of people. I think he's still in the league. I think he's still playing. Caleb Lemieux, offensive tackle. Patriots said, we got to block a little better, so we need some help there. So they wanted to make sure they got their guy. The Chiefs are on the clock. They're still listing needs as cornerback, wide receiver, edge, D-line, all offensive linemen. There's the pick, Caleb Lemieux, Utah. Big man. He looks like that guy. He looks like the offensive tackle, dude. He has that look. You know, you haven't really seen the rock star look, you know, and the players so far. Had a couple of guys a little bit longer hair. Most of these guys they've almost got like looks like the 1950s haircut going on. I mean, there's not, you don't see that. You've seen a little bit, but not much. 6'6", 313. Got a little dance moves too. The pick is in for the Chiefs. 49ers are on the clock. Kansas City. I like Kansas City. And, man, where would they go with this? There's a lot of ways that KC could go with this. We talked about getting the cornerback. I still think they've got to, the pick is in, I still think they've got to go offensive line. I wouldn't be surprised there's another wide receiver or two laying out there and wait. They need some help there. They've never been able to fill Tyreek's shoes. Their downfield passing game has suffered. They're throwing to the edges. It's the dink and dunk. You know, it takes forever. They do long drives. Remember they used to score so fast? Those days are gone. They're running between the tackles. Their running game was a little off last year. They weren't getting the yards per carry that they usually get. They do have excellent running backs. I like this, the offensive side of the ball, but they need a receiver. Some of the receivers have not worked out. Some have moved on. Some have had problems. Kelsey's getting older. I just think a need pick right here. They really need to go wide receiver. They've missed out on some. The pick is in. I would not be surprised to see that. So we'll see. Pick is in. Commercials are on. 49ers are showing offensive line, edge, wide receiver, defensive line, safety. So the Bills decided to get some extra picks. There were some teams that had a lot of picks. I mean, like 12, 13 picks in this draft. So they had some maneuverability to do that. And if the Bills are another team, they don't need a lot. They don't need a lot. The 49ers don't need a lot. Seahawks maybe a little more, but not too much. All these teams are at the bottom of the first round. You're good. That's why you're at the bottom. And you got an opportunity to get a little better. Maybe help push your team over the top for next year's or the next Super Bowl next year. And so we'll see. Where do the Chiefs go? This is still a very talented team. I had people at work telling me the Chiefs are done. Everybody's figured them out. I'm like, no, they haven't. They've got some gaps in this team that are not allowing them to do what they need to do, and the other teams are exploiting that. It's not like all of a sudden they just developed a magic potion to beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs were beating themselves, and again, that's failure of the managing that salary cap. Maybe they have a lot of money invested in Mahomes, Kelsey, Chris Jones on the defensive line. They missed on some players. They couldn't keep some because they were up for contract. They have done a pretty good job of keeping that defensive line very active and good. The Jets. Let's see, things are moving. The Jets are surprising us. Now the Chiefs pick is in. The Jets have moved back in, and they got the 30th pick. We might redo that. Who has had the best draft, depending on what they do. They're rolling the dice here. So we're looking at the Jets, who got David Bailey Kenron Sadiq, the tight end. I really like this. This is interesting. I don't know where in the world they're thinking about. This team does need a quarterback. I wouldn't think they would take him this early. But do they roll the dice and take the third quarterback in the first round? I don't know that it'll be that. But it's interesting. They've something they want to get, so they've rolled back in. 3 picks in the first round. So all you Jets fans that said this was the draft that could really turn this team around, maybe. See the announcement of the Chiefs pick here in just a second. Cornerback, wide receiver, edge, D-line, offensive line. I say you got to do offensive line or wide receiver, in my opinion. They need some help on that team. The yards were hard to come by, and that was not the typical Chiefs team. They need help there. But they got defensive tackle Peter Woods from Clemson, another Clemson player, a junior. This is another really good player. A lot of talk about him. And they decided to get Chris Jones and some of those other guys. They need to plug the middle, defensive tackle. Their edges look good. This is not a bad pick. It's a good pick. I still think they need a receiver, but they might get it later in the draft because this is a deep draft for wide receivers. The defensive tackle from Clemson. So, good job, Chiefs. Again, good job getting needs, moving around the draft a little bit, realizing your guy was going to be there. But who have the Jets locked on? That's curious. This may be the biggest surprise of the draft so far. So somebody did come back up in. I said somebody might do this. It happened. So we'll see. And that team was the 49ers. They decided we can wait on our guy. The Jets said we want our guy. There's Peter Woods on the screen. 6'2.5", 298. Not as heavy as you think it'd be. I think he'll get heavier. I watched him play a lot. I watched a lot of Clemson games, so I watched him play. So I'm not unfamiliar with him at all. So, good job plugging up that middle. See, on the screen, they're saying 49ers pick is in, but there's the trade. Just announced that the Jets on the clock, not made the pick yet. So we'll see. 3 picks left in this draft. God, it's going to be wild if they pick a quarterback. They have question marks. They really do. Could they go for this big arm of, I don't think it'll happen. The pick is in. Could this be a Carson Beck pick? I'm probably dead wrong on that. He's a guy you can get later, I know, but it's just they're probably solidifying. There's a lot of good offensive talent here at this point. There's still some players, like I said, some players got pushed down with some of the picks earlier. A couple of them that surprised me, the order of them. So we'll see. Jets, Jets, Jets. Jets fans are so hungry. They've got to be just on the edge of their seat right now, thinking, man, is my team finally going to do? The pick is in. Bills are on the clock. Then the Seahawks. Jets, where do they do? They're so excited. Jets fans are. They like this new coach. They like some things they're doing. Remember how bad it was for them at quarterback? I mean, they couldn't move the ball. I mean, since old Joe, there's been a couple of guys that came along and threw the ball all over the place. They didn't get them where they needed to be, but they've needed a quarterback has been horrible. So they did go wide receiver, Omar Cooper Jr. He was another one of those uber talented receivers. And the fans will be happy about this. But again, the question marks at quarterback. Omar Cooper Jr., another one. He was predicted to go in the first round. He almost didn't make it, but he did. Jets said, you're our guy. Good pick. I would say, I still think the Cowboys have the better draft because they didn't need as much and they plugged needs that they had. They did a really good job. But I got to give the Jets a lot of credit here. I really like the moves. They're getting needs met all over the field. With their edge, they come to get the tight end. Maybe that was high for him, but they want to move the ball. Then they get their receiver. But I don't know. Can they? That's been the fault. They just could not. They could not get this position filled correctly, and it's just been a problem for them. So we'll see. But they went out and got their guy, and they feel like he's the one. But he's been around. He's been really good. He's been really bad. But getting Geno Smith from the Raiders, of course, the Raiders get their guy, Fernando Mendoza from Indiana. Can Geno be that guy? Now, he has shown he's been immature at times with his emotions. Sometimes he makes bad decisions. He can throw the ball. He's talented, but he just never sticks anywhere. Remember, he was the guy that was in the green room, didn't go day one, just pitched a real hissy on that. They've got other quarterbacks in the room, not great ones, but they do have other ones, Cook and Bailey, Zappi. But it just hasn't happened for them. Oh, and we have the Titans. The Titans have decided to move back into the first round. So it's the Titans and the Seahawks right now. So a little bit of activity at the end of the draft. There's the Omar Cooper delegation and celebration. And like I say, a nice draft by the Jets. A really nice draft. And Geno will be happy. He's got the tight ends. So they're really working on the offensive side of the ball. New quarterback, new tight end, new receiver. I mean, they're a candidate for having the best draft with that move right there. I just still would list the Cowboys ahead because the Cowboys, they need the Jets need a lot, to me. They still got a lot of talent on that team, but the Cowboys are a more talented team. Here's the Titans on the clock. We're showing bills, but that'll be announced. The trade is coming. The Titans listing still offensive line, edge, wide receiver, running back, linebacker. Listen, they got to make some bold moves. This team has got a coach that's looking like an idiot right now. They got a bad team. They got a new stadium coming. They need to get moving forward. They're starting to look like the Jets. I mean, seriously, this is a team that's gotten really bad. They've made bad choices at quarterback. It's not worked out. Everybody thought that they were going to be the best thing since sliced bread. It hasn't worked out. They did get Cam Ward. I like him. He's uber talented. They put some players with him. The pick is in. The Seahawks are on the clock. Soon to be closing out the first round. We'll pick it back up again tomorrow night. And then the Saturday, who did the Titans move in on? They say, we want to get our guy. Remember, their coach is there. He won't be there Saturday. He's got to go get help. Well, this is not what you want. He didn't resign, but the athletic reporter did. She said she's going to resign and did. He decides to take out. This has been an ugly, ugly thing for the NFL. Very ugly for the Titans. They can't be happy about it. Or the Patriots, rather. I'm sorry. But I mixed those up. But the Titans, who they go with. But they need to get better. You want to put fans in the seats. You got a lot of exciting things. New teams, new stadium. You got an exciting quarterback. Man, he can do it all. There's going to be a lot of super talented quarterbacks coming out next year that can move with the ball. Got the arm that can throw it forever. Kendrick Falk, edge from Auburn. SEC, baby. Junior. Keldrick. I'm sorry, I said Kendrick. I'm getting tired. Keldrick Falk. Seahawks on the clock. So we're almost ready to close it out. So hope you're doing well, Daryl. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Been praying for you, man. Cook, I can't imagine if Cook was here to be so excited that I thought that the Dallas Cowboys had such a great draft. Because I don't normally say that. I really don't. We'll see who the Seahawks close out with. There's Keldrick. Auburn, War Eagle, baby. I don't say that very often. They give them their props. This is these young men's professional step off in the professional world. Falk's a great NFL name. We remember some Falks. So, Alabama got one in there, a couple of them. Auburn got one, Georgia got one. Well, Tennessee did not. Some of those. Now, think about this going in. You got to think one of these Tennessee cornerbacks has got to be picked up pretty quick. Big talent. They didn't select them. Teams will be happy about that for day 2. Because there's still, think about it. We didn't have a lot of running backs selected. Only 2 quarterbacks. Linebacker was not a heavy in the first round. So you're going to be seeing that pick up. C.J. Allen did not make, unless he's picked here, C.J. Allen did not make the first round. He's sitting out there. He's a do-all player. He's a great teammate. He won't be a trouble for you. He'll play with everything he's got. And so day 2 is going to have tremendous talent. Rounds 2 and 3, they'll go a little faster. And we'll get 2 more rounds in. Where do the Seahawks go? He says, I'm going to put that Titans hat on. There he is. He says, I look good in blue. Where's that? I don't know if you've ever been, Daryl, to that restaurant on the south side. You go over there, and you go in the bathroom. They have there's no glass in between where the sinks are. That messes with you, man, when you first go there. It's like, whoa, I'm seeing the female. The female sees you. It's weird. It blows everybody's mind. I don't know if you've ever been there. That creeped me out the first time. I didn't know it was like. I'd never been there before. It was like, what? Seahawks have not made their pick yet. It's been a lot of fun. I thank you for hanging out. I've had a lot of people hang out through this. I flubbed a few lines. Hey, I'm human. Appreciate everybody being here. Love the NFL. Stay with us this year. We'll be talking a lot of NFL. We're going to up our NFL talks. We'll be doing a lot more with that. And college football, going to step that up. Looking forward to the season. Always am. Pick is in. The Seahawks. Running back, offensive line, cornerback, edge, wide receiver. Got one of the loudest stadiums in the league, the 12th man. They always put the decibel level reading. It's very loud in there. It's one of those places you can't hear. I've never been a Seahawks fan, but they have definitely. Remember, they were horrible for a long time, but they really have done it back to the days, their Super Bowl runs and everything. It's just this team had dipped down. They've came back. They put a pretty good product on the field, but still, changes have came. This first round really felt like, of any that I have watched in a long time, that teams really went to need. They were really, I think maybe there was one splash pick, but they have a lot of needs, and I think they went there. But you can tell that teams were really drafting to need. Not even just the best available. They didn't always go by those lists. They were looking at their needs and what they felt, and they were doing it. Maybe the Jets splashed a little pick on that tight end. He was projected to go a little lower than that. But hey, they've got the quarterback. They're giving him some tools. I can't fault that. I'd have to say the Jets are right there with the Cowboys as having a really good draft with that move right there. Hopefully, it should be a very exciting team. I mean, honestly, when's the last time you said that? Think about how they couldn't throw the ball. Gino will throw the ball. Just got to make sure it intercepted. But he can put it all over the field. The talent they already have there. They do have a lot of talent on that team. The coach, He's no nonsense, bringing toughness to the team. This team has a chance to be, the Jets I'm talking about have a chance to be really exciting. And like I said, Giants are getting better. New York's getting a little swagger back. Day two, we'll talk about some of the teams that didn't draft today, like the Falcons. Where do they go with their first pick? There's a few of them that didn't pick today. The pick is in for the Seahawks. Just waiting to see where we go with that. The last pick in the NFL draft, first round 2026, Seattle Seahawks. The Rainy City. I would like to go there. They have some beautiful cities that are on islands out there. I know a guy was city manager of one of them for a while. A lot of people go out and take the cruises on up to Alaska. And lots of jump off point for some of that. It's a beautiful area. Crazy ideologies, but a beautiful place nonetheless. The fish market, that's Seattle, right? Is that Seattle where they have the fish market? They throw the fish. You can tell me if I'm wrong. I watched the video on that. It's pretty cool. Better be good catching. They're throwing it. So let's see here. Close out this. They had to do some. Here's the selection now being announced. Jadarian Prince, running back. So we did get another running back. Price. I said Prince. Jadarian Price, running back, Notre Dame, redshirt junior. How about that? It wasn't a need. They did have a need on there. So we didn't make it out of the first round with just one running back. And way back, the third pick, the Cardinals took Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame Jr. with the very last pick. Jadarian Price, running back, Notre Dame, to Seattle. And that's your NFL first round for 2026 at 11:05 Eastern. Not bad. Fun. Looks like they had a ball there in Pittsburgh. Fired up the crowd. This again, there's nobody can touch what the NFL does. No matter how much people hate them, nobody can touch what they're doing on draft night. That first round, that celebration, that is huge. I don't know what I need to look up the numbers of what's anticipated for that, but the economic impact of what that means for a city that has that, it has to be incredible. It has to be incredible. So join us tomorrow, and we'll do her again, and we'll look at some teams that we didn't look at. We'll look at maybe a little bit of analysis on this, kind of have time to absorb it, see where that's see what we think about it as we sleep on it, and we'll see you tomorrow in the morning. I'm trying to do a morning show. Sorry I haven't been able to do it the last couple of days with my wife's health. It's just been missed some sleep and just wore out. So I'll try my best to be on in the morning. We shall see. And I've had some work stuff where I've had to go back at night or in the morning. So pray for us. I enjoy what I do. We got some challenges right now we're working through. Thanks for everybody stopping by. I appreciate it. I mean that. We're just family here. We got a great team here of co-hosts. Y'all keep praying. Dean, by the way, his aunt was in the hospital last night. She went home. So answers to prayer. Hated we missed Dean being there. We had a great guest last night. Enjoyed that. GB22 Designs. We'll what they're looking for it. Probably be there in the morning. We'll do something tomorrow night, and then our weekend programming should be all over the place. But shout out to everybody. Have a great night. We're a little over 3 hours. Enjoy doing it. God bless you all. We'll put on some music. Can't wait for the games. You get the draft in, you want the games. So I'm looking forward to that, and it won't be long. It's Dave in the AM, a.k.a. the Cornbread Man, signing off. We'll see you next time. Salute with a little music.